of the iShares by BlackRock. Hunt for October. It's as if the baseball world turned totally upside down.
Can you see real me?
From the cobweb cellar of a year ago, Boston has battled itself to the peak of the game now, and they're counting the days till the playoffs, where they haven't been seen since 2009. Surprised? Not here in Boston. Anyone who doubted this great city knows nothing about its resiliency, its heritage, its people, its Red Sox.
This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong.
Look at these guys now. Great pitching, great hitting, great beards. But while other challenges and surprises come and go, the rivalry is eternal, no matter what the standards say. With Mariano Rivera in Beantown, maybe for the last time, you know they will battle to the final out. It's what they do, always. Some things are just greater than the moment. This is one of them.
Welcome to a special night here in Boston, and welcome to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Taco Bell. The final regular season meeting of the season between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees, and a very special night as the Red Sox honor not one of their own, but a member of the New York Yankees. Mariano Rivera making quite possibly his final appearance here, definitely his final regular season appearance here, and as has been the tradition all around baseball this year, the home team honoring Rivera the last time that he comes to the ballpark. Generally acknowledged, of course, as the greatest reliever, the greatest closer in baseball history. Rivera, 651 career saves. That is a record. 42 career postseason saves. That is a record. Let's go down to the field now with our colleague and friend Dave O'Brien to handle the ceremony.
Pitcher number 42, Mariano Rivera.
And you acknowledged us. You have been the greatest closer, and you have been the classiest of competitors. And tonight, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the field to accept small tokens of our appreciation for the virtues and the values that you embody. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome future Hall of Famer, Mariano Rivera. To commemorate that moment and your gracious nature, we have a gift for you. A beautifully painted portrait that illustrates why fans at Fenway feel such fondness for such a formidable force. And the man presenting that gift to you is the one player on this team who was on that team, our own beloved Big Papi, David Ortiz. That's not your only gift. We had 3 pieces at Fenway Park to give you as well, because you are the last who will ever wear the number 42 Our 2013 Red Sox have signed the green placard bearing your number that is hung on the green monster every time you have come in to pitch. A total that is more than any other visiting reliever in the history of Fenway Park. Presenting that gift and representing all of our position players is another member of the Red Sox who, like Big Papi, may join you someday at Cooperstown, our brilliant second baseman, Dustin Pedroia. Mariano, we also have for you an authentic 1934 seat from Fenway Park. Yes, a blue one. And yes, again, featuring your number 42. And presenting this gift and representing our starting pitchers is our homegrown and longtime left-handed star, John Lester. Of the park is the pitching rubber from the visitors' bullpen with an inscribed plaque, and presenting that is the man whose incredible season this year is a reminder of how great you have been for 19 seasons. Representing our bullpen brigade, our 2013 closer, number 19, Koji Uehara. We have one last gift for you. We know that your heart and spirit have led you to raise funds for a church and school in your native Panama. We would like to help. That is why John Henry, Tom Werner, Larry Lucchino, Ben Cherington, and John Farrell will honor your effort with a donation from our Red Sox Foundation. Congratulations, Mariano. As it reads on this plaque, we tip our cap to the great Rivera, a real gentleman, a fierce competitor, and a most worthy opponent.
No matter where greatness shows its face, you've got to respect it and you've got to appreciate it for what it is, no matter what team colors they wear.
Guts, but I love him at the same time, you know?
Thanks, Mariano. Get the hell out of Boston.
Whoa. I hate him because he's in pinstripes, but I'd love him if he was wearing that beat.
2005, and when Mariano came out and he tipped his cap and kind of smiled.
Mariano Rivera.
I thought that was pretty good. We'll never see another Mariano, that's for sure.
He's a class act. You can't say anything bad about him. If you do, you're not a real Sox fan.
There you go, Sandman.
We'll stand up next to the Yankees and cheer Mariano because he deserves it.
Mariano, you're the man. You're the man.
You've earned your retirement, but don't do it.
From the Boston Red Sox, Mo Rivera, New York Yankees, we love you.
I love you, bro. Love you too, bro.
I'm going to go that far. I'm not going to tell Mariano I love him. We ain't going that far, guys. All right? Wearing a B on my hat.
Boston and ready for Sunday Night Baseball, the final regular season meeting between the Yankees and Red Sox. What a season it has been for the Red Sox, from worst to first, from 93 losses last year to 91 wins right now, comfortably in front, it would seem, in the American League East. The Yankees are in a battle. They've lost the last 2 games here in this park over the weekend, but they're still just 2.5 out of a playoff spot, and the Rays and Rangers both lost again today. So the Yankees have picked up a half game, can get within 2 if they can win tonight at Fenway. Clay Buchholz is on the mound for the Boston Red Sox. Oral, his second start since coming off the DL.
3 months with shoulder issues, trying to work on fastball command tonight. If he has that, he can be really good.
Curtis Granderson leads it off for the Yankees. Brett Gardner is out, the latest in a seemingly never-ending series of injuries for the Yankees. A few days ago, Gardner strained an oblique, may not return before the end of the regular season, so Granderson back in center and hitting leadoff. Breaking ball a little bit outside, a ball 2. And Crucky, I know we were talking with Joe Girardi a little bit earlier. With everything he's had to deal with this year, you think he's done a great job?
I think he's done a fantastic job, and I think he's leading for manager of the year. With all the injuries they had to star players, not just everyday players, what he has done and the lineup that he's put out for pretty much this entire season, it's not what you call a quality big league lineup, but yet here they are with a chance still to make the postseason.
Granderson missed 98 games with 2 separate injuries, both of them as a result of being hit by a pitch. Once a broken wrist, once a broken finger. Of course, Mark Teixeira barely played this year. Kevin Youkilis barely played. Alex Rodriguez missed the first 110 games. Derek Jeter barely played. And on it goes. Jeter shut down for the rest of the season. Appeared in only 17 games this year. They have not been very Bronx Bomberish so far this season, but somehow they've managed to go 79-70. And they are still in the hunt for a potential playoff spot. Full count.
And that's the part that makes Joe Girardi so masterful with what he has done. The Yankees have not given up. And every year you think about the Yankees being on top of the East, and the wild card, second wild card, almost invented because of the Yankees' dominance to give other clubs a chance. Now they're trying to sneak in that way.
And a leadoff walk. Let's take a look at the Yankee lineup tonight, presented as always by Taco Bell. Alex Rodriguez DHing again tonight, got a bad hamstring. Robinson Cano, very big numbers in a lot of places, and Fenway Park is one of them. Alfonso Soriano is in the lineup tonight. He didn't play yesterday because of a bad thumb, but he's back in the lineup tonight, and boy, do they need him. He's been on an absolute tear ever since he got back to New York. And you could hear behind us the reaction as Alex Rodriguez came to the plate. They may have shown some love for Mariano Rivera before the game. They're not going to show any for Alex Rodriguez, to say the least.
2 different personalities.
We'll have a lot more on Rivera over the course of the evening as Buchholz's pickoff attempt gets away. Granderson around second, digging for third, and is in there. And a dubious beginning here for Clay Buchholz.
This is the second game of the second half of his season. He was out for 3 months, and his first game back, he had 3 rehab starts in the minors, then went 5 innings against Tampa with all zeros. But a lot of new things right here. Ball possibly could have been caught, but it definitely could have been more accurately thrown, a little bit closer to the bag. Nice hustle by Granderson to get the third.
And they do give the air to Buchholz. I agree with you, Oral, that could have easily gone on Napoli, but they give it to Buchholz. Runner with third, nobody out. And the bat of the DH, Alex Rodriguez, takes a fastball in for a strike. Rodriguez with a couple of home runs during a series this week in Baltimore, and he's also hit Clay Buchholz very well in his career, hitting .391 against him with a couple of homers. Chopper to short will get a run home, and the Yankees strike first. So a walk, an error, and a ground out produce a run here in the top of the first for the Yankees.
Well, that's Yankee baseball right there, isn't it? But no, usually they're the power-laden team. But you know, Alex Rodriguez, he does have good numbers against Clay Buchholz. You'd like to see him maybe take a shot there to try to drive one in the outfield and try to get a big inning. Like he was pretty content on just hitting that grounder to short and getting the run in.
So the base is empty with the one out. Here's Robinson Cano hitting .312 with 27 homers on the season, and the Red Sox in the shift. With Pedroia out on the outfield grass, guarding the line very closely is Napoli, and Drew swung way around to the other side of the bag as Cano chases, and the count is 0-1. Cano went 4 for 4 with 3 doubles Friday night, and then went 0 for 4 yesterday afternoon.
So what you're saying is he's due.
No, he's been on a tear. He's hitting .378 in his last 38 games. His numbers will be there heading into free agency. Now, we should say that one of those doubles that he had on Friday was not your typical double. The shift was on, and get a load of this. I mean, he just pushes a ball hard up the third baseline, and he winds up at second base. A bunt double.
Well, that's why you see Xander Bogaerts right there, but more guarding the, well, not guarding line, playing a normal third base position. See right there, Middlebrooks was way over in the shortstop position, making it easier for Cano.
And Buchholz frustrated earlier, or you can see with his lack of command. He's hanging a lot of pitches, missing the zone a lot.
When you have shoulder issues, you work hard to get the ball down, especially on your rehab, and then when you first come back. And now think about this as like a second spring training start for him, or he could be really concentrating on getting the ball down, making sure that he's loose and can pitch down there.
The nice thing for John Farrell is John Lester's pitching very well. John Lackey's had a very good season. Jake Peavy's in the rotation as well. Buchholz, when healthy, guys, is an obvious candidate as a top of the rotation guy. He's 10-0, 1.61 ERA on the season. But John Farrell looking on, wondering, is there enough time for Buchholz to get back there? Even if he doesn't, he could still be a factor in the postseason, obviously.
74 pitches against Tampa Bay. They'll try and stretch him out to about 90 today.
Cano reaches for it, sends a fly ball to left field, and Mike Hart is there to make the catch. 2 down.
Clay Buchholz has a very simple delivery with a short step back, and then he throws out over his front leg. Just check how high he gets his arm up, getting his elbow above his shoulder. The delivery looks clean, free and easy. Driving that particular pitch low and away from Cano with good location.
It looked like Cano was looking in and swinging away.
Now Alfonso Soriano. Slider for a strike. Soriano was mentioned scratched yesterday. A sore left thumb, back in the lineup tonight. Joe Girardi had 2 different lineups. He waited to see how Soriano made it through BP. And as you can see, he leads everyone in baseball in home runs and RBIs since he became a Yankee. And it was the acquisition of Soriano more than any other factor. Obviously, A-Rod returned, Granderson returned, but this guy is the biggest reason why the Yankee offense improved so much in the last 6 weeks or so. And it is much better than it was the first half of the season.
You have to wonder, as a veteran player, if going from, you know, the Cubs, who are struggling again this year, and he's been there for a while, struggling with the Cubs, come into a team that has a chance. You wonder if that rejuvenated him. That passion and love for the game might have come back a little bit.
Two and two.
I don't really think a player understands when he misses that passion and love until all of a sudden he realizes it again. And I think that definitely happens to Soriano. I think that the Pinstripes and the city of Boston, these 2 different organizations, can really raise the bar for a player.
And he hooks the ball into left field for a base hit.
Now, this is what Soriano can do. He's a guy that you can bounce balls, he'll chase. But if you throw it anywhere close to the plate, he uses that big, long old bat. The guy goes out and gets that and hooks that ball down to left field. I mean, this guy has tremendous hands. Look at those hands. Finger over the knob. Gets out in front of this ball a little bit, but you can see how he just keeps his hand back just enough to hook that ball into left field for that base hit. And he can run, Dan.
Still has some speed. Has 8 stolen bases on the season, been caught 3 times. 8 as a Yankee, forgive me. 18 of 26 overall, 8 of 11 as a Yankee. The batter with 2 outs and Soriano at first is Lyle Overbay, the first baseman. Overbay, who was with the Red Sox back in spring training, was let go by Boston right near the end of spring. Picked up by the Yankees. Of course, they had the Mark Teixeira injury. And Overbay has had some very big hits at times, more early in the season than late. Plays some good defense, and he's turned into a pretty useful player for the Yankees because they had a gaping hole at first base.
This is where Soriano might take off. 0-1. He gave Lyle Overbay one chance to hit that hole, and now he's going to try to get in scoring position with 2 outs. See if Overbay can get a hit to drive him in.
Foul ball, and the count 0-2 on Overbay. Friday night, the Red Sox defeated the Yankees 8-4. Jared Saltalamacchia hit a grand slam in the 7th inning to break a tie. Yesterday, John Lester with 8 very strong innings as the Red Sox won again, 5-1. The Red Sox took 3 out of 4 from the Yankees last week in New York. They're 12-6 against the Yankees this year, and they are on their way to the postseason. And John Farrell's first year as manager here in Boston. Soft liner caught by Drew to end the inning. But a run in for the Yankees and a 1-0 lead as Clay Buchholz leaves the field. Ivan Nova will make his way out to the mound when we come back. Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And in part by iShares by BlackRock. Visit iShares.com to learn more. And Firestone, reminding you that whatever you drive a Firestone. Mariano Rivera honored a pregame in a nice ceremony here at Fenway Park. The Yankees with a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the first as we send you down to the field and Buster Olney.
Dan, the guy who's filled the leadoff spot for the Boston Red Sox during the course of this season has been Jacoby Ellsbury. But about 10 days ago, he was shut down with a broken bone in his foot. Now, the last couple of days, he's been doing workouts, and at the end of those, he puts his walking boot back on. And Boston manager John Farrell reiterated again that at some point, Ellsbury is expected to play in Major League games before the end of the regular season. The big question at that point will be, how quickly can he regain his swing?
Buster, thank you. Obviously, a big loss for the Red Sox as well as things have gone this season. You're talking about the major league leader in stolen bases. Ivan Nova on the mound tonight for the Yankees. 8-4, good overall record in ERA. He was the American League Pitcher of the Month in August when he went 4-0 with a 2.08 ERA in 6 starts. But his last 2 oral, one against the Red Sox, one against the Orioles, a much different story.
Yeah, he's been very inconsistent, and if the Yankees are going to have any shot at grabbing one of the wild card spots, he is going to have to get hot in a hurry and pitch up to his potential. He has number 1, number 2 stuff. It's the inconsistency, and sometimes in the big innings, he really can't bear down and execute.
Breaking ball misses in the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes on Dustin Pedroia, who has taken, at least temporarily, Jacoby Ellsbury's leadoff spot in the Boston lineup. And Pedroia, who's played the entire season with a sore left thumb, suffered an injury on opening day on a headfirst slide, still has put up good numbers. Not much power lately, but still on his way to 80-plus RBIs, maybe a 300 average, as he hits a chopper to third. And Mark Reynolds throws him out for out number 1.
I think Pedroia thinks that ball hit his foot.
I think he does. But he's not going to get anybody else of importance to agree with him, so he is retired on a ground ball to third.
Usually when it hits your foot, you stay in the box, right, John? You don't run.
Just a weird hop how it came out of the box. And
looks like it hit the dirt and then his foot.
Yeah, I mean, you got to sell it better than that.
Yeah.
You don't sell it after you get to first. Pretty much sails over.
Here's Daniel Nava, who has had a very nice season for the Red Sox. When you look at the reasons why Boston has had such a good year, there are so many of them, and this guy is one of them. Nava hitting 300 on the season, versatile player defensively. 11 homers, 62 RBIs, takes a walk, works the count like so many Boston hitters. Hitting over 360 since August 1st. He's played both corner outfield spots, also some first base. Good curveball from Nova. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Real good curveball, and that's a key pitch for him in this arsenal of his. When you see the movement on his fastball, that is not a 2-seamer. He has such great hands and such great spinning ability of the ball. He's throwing a 4-seamer that has that sinking action, and then you see how good that hand is with how much spin he put on that curveball.
Threw him another one. Nava was waiting on it. And he's on his way to second base with a 1-out double.
You throw him one good one, you surprise him. When you come back with the next one, it's supposed to bounce or be worse, and he comes back with another strike one. So there's the one that's low and away, almost perfect to get that called strike. But now you throw it right in the sweet spot, low in the inner half to a lefty, and that's where they absolutely love it. Drop the head and turn on it. If you're going to go there, you got to bounce it, especially when you're that far ahead in the count.
The Red Sox are the major league leaders in a number of offensive categories. Doubles is one of them. They lead in doubles, walks, on base percentage, slugging percentage, and most importantly, runs per game. And this guy is a big reason why. It's been a big year for David Ortiz.
He missed a bunch of time early. He'd be well over 100 RBIs if he started the season on time.
Yeah, had inflammation in both heels at the beginning of the year that set him back a ways. 27 homers, 36 doubles, shift on for the Yankees.
He's made a concerted effort to hit the ball the other way a lot more this season. That's why the average is so high, and there he goes.
Finds the hole on the left side of the infield. Base hit, RBI, tie game.
That's October baseball in September for the Boston Red Sox. Capitalize on a 1-2 hang and breaking ball, hit a double, and then David Ortiz says, I'm going to beat the shift.
That's that 4-seamer that acts like a 2-seamer for Nova. And I mean, this is David Ortiz right now. He's very content on driving in runs with singles, and you see that swing. That is not a pull swing. That's not a, I'm going to try to hit a home run. I have a big hole with the runner on second base. If I hit a grounder to shortstop, I've got an RBI, and our team has a tie game.
A ball sliced down the left field line, but just foul off the bat of Mike Carp. Getting a start in left field tonight as we show you the Boston Red Sox lineup. This potent Red Sox lineup, even with a couple of regulars out of the lineup tonight. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. And Pedroia up in the leadoff spot, as you've already seen. Mike Napoli having a big year. He's on deck right now. Jared Saltalamacchia, one of the better offensive catchers in baseball this year. No Middlebrooks tonight. No Victorino tonight. And of course, still no Ellsbury, but this is still a deep lineup. And a lineup, Crucky, that's going to battle and grind. This Red Sox group, they've seen more pitches than any other team in baseball.
By a lot. And it's not by design. You go into the season thinking we're going to take more pitches. It's just that they have such great eyes. They don't swing at a lot of bad pitches. It's very simple. If it's a strike, swing. If it's a ball, don't.
And when they get to 2 strikes, they also foul off a lot of good pitches. You can see more than 1,000 more pitches seen than any other team in baseball. And here's another guy, Mike Carp, one of the newcomers this year, hitting over 300. His slugging percentage is up over 550. His slugging is almost as good as David Ortiz's is. Now, he's not a full-time player, but the Navas and the Carps and the Gomeses and Napoli, I mean, so many different guys have helped lengthen this Boston lineup this year.
As you mentioned the names, they police themselves. Talking to John Farrell before the game, doesn't have to continually manage.
Fly ball center field. 2 down.
Ask John, you see something going on in the game, and you look over your shoulder, you think you might have to address the subject, and you see players take care of themselves, and he says, oh yeah, all the time. We coaching staff, we might turn and say there's an issue right there or something, and just a look or a conversation starts up between Pedroia, David Ortiz, Gomes, Napoli. Somebody is going to verbalize the mistake.
But it's been the perfect storm for the Red Sox. Everything that could go well for them did. They didn't know what they were going to get with Daniel Nava. He's hitting 300, like you said. They didn't know what they were going to get from Mike Carp, yet he's hitting over 300 and playing a key role in their offense. You didn't know what you were going to get from Uehara, and now he's maybe the best closer in baseball.
And as Mike Napoli steps in, remember in the offseason, the Red Sox offered him a 3-year deal, about $39 million, but there were concerns after his physical about what some thought was a potentially degenerative hip condition. So it got knocked down to a 1-year, $5 million deal with some incentives, a lot of which he's going to reach because he's had a great year. 87 RBIs, 21 home runs. Woo. That'll pop out of the glove of Stewart, and Ortiz will take second.
This is some of the inconsistency of Nova in the last few starts and throughout his career. He's very frustrated, but the Yankees are just as frustrated because this is a fantastic arm. He can throw the awesome curveball, then he can hang a little one and give up a double, and then he can throw one like this that just pops out of the top of his hand and goes to the backstop.
Napoli with a high fly ball, deep center, and gone. And that's their new thing, relatively new. The Beards have been going all season long, but now you drive one out, and somebody else is going to tug on that beard when you get back to the dugout. This is a group that likes each other. They're having a good time.
They love each other, but you also love the fact that a guy hangs a breaking ball, throws it over your head. You know the next pitch is not going to be a breaking ball. He's only thrown 2 pitches in this game, fastball and a breaking ball. you've eliminated the breaking ball. You set on the fastball and you hit a homer to center.
Saltalamacchia fouls one off, a ball and a strike. For Napoli, that's his 7th home run this year against the Yankees.
You don't think that'll endear him to Sox fans?
You know, John, you said everything is broken right for the Red Sox. Well, the one thing that they knew was going to happen, that they were going to get tough players. That was the box they were going to check off. Gomes, Napoli, the guys that are going to show up every day, be Jim Ratz, Victorino. And the one thing they're going to be is they're going to grind it out and they're going to be tough.
You think back to September of 2011, you think back to all of last year, and now you think to how much has changed in this Boston Red Sox organization in the last year and a half, really, to 2 years, as it's taken low by Saltalamacchia.
And you look at what it's done to Saltalamacchia. You know, he was a guy that, you know, he didn't know what he was as a Red Sox, and now this year he is a Red Sox to me.
Liner left center, base hit. And Nova's not fooling anybody here in the first. Larry Rothschild on his way to the mound. Now the Yankees, I don't know if you can say it's a must-win game yet, but with every day that comes off the calendar and every loss that they suffer, they make their situation more and more difficult. Joe Girardi knows it, and after they get a run in the top of the first, they give it back in more oral here in the bottom half.
John is so right, because the Red Sox can just eliminate the breaking ball. Yeah, you tip your hat if he throws a good one, but when he takes one to the backstop and then leaves that fastball up to a dead red high fastball hitter, you got to hit it awfully hard to hit it that high and get it out of here. Mike Napoli is one of the best high ball hitters in the big leagues.
3 runs in, a man on, 2 outs, and the batter was the shortstop, Stephen Drew. Nova's pitch count is climbing. The Red Sox have scored 3 runs off him here in the bottom of the first. Drew, another newcomer to Boston, 12 homers, 62 RBIs. Another pitch up in the zone.
It's all right if you're throwing 97 or 98 up there.
You just don't see any pattern. So if you don't see any pattern to the misses or where the pitches are being located, then that means the body, the mechanics out there on the mound are not consistent either. He's searching for rhythm. He's searching for an arm slot. And that means he's searching for location.
Now he's talked a little bit about some tricep soreness. He mentioned the word elbow to you when he was talking. So after being the pitcher of the month in the American League in August, he's had 2 so-so starts, to say the least. In September, maybe not completely healthy.
He eliminated the slider now. He only throws the curveball as a breaking ball.
Missed again. But they need him right now. It's not been a typical CC Sabathia year. Hiroki Kuroda, after pitching brilliantly for much of the season, not pitching as well his last few times out. Phil Hughes has had a rough season. There's a ball shot to left field and caught belt high by Soriano to end the inning. But it's a productive inning for Mike Napoli and the Boston Red Sox. They get the run back and then some, as Napoli hits a towering fly ball to straightaway center field, his 22nd home run of the season. RBIs number 88 and 89. And the good times for the bearded Red Sox continue. Reynolds leads off the second for the Yankees. A 3-1 lead for the Red Sox as Boston tries to sweep the series. Mike Napoli with a home run, a 2-run shot in the bottom half of the first, straightaway center field. Reynolds, the Yankee third baseman again tonight. And you can see the shift the Red Sox have on. That was Pedroia over on the shortstop side of the bag. Drew's making the play. Napoli's making the sweep tag, and Reynolds is out. Let's take a look now at Hot Zone, brought to you by T-Mobile.
Well, 2030 versus left-handers. Clay Buchholz has been dominant against lefties and righties, but you take it with lefties, he's going to attack left-handers mainly with his two-seamer, then his cutter and his changeup. And blue and dark blue below 250. You can see anywhere in the strike zone he's fooled them.
Here's Ichiro. Right fielder hitting .262 on the season. The Yankees on the year just 10th out of 15 teams in the American League in runs scored. 13th in the American League in things like home runs, slugging percentage. Remember, at the beginning of the year, they were carried for a while by the likes of Overbay, Hafner, Wells, guys who were filling in. Those guys cooled off, and before some of the other regulars came back, the Yankees really hit a valley offensively. Now, again, they have swung the bats better of late for the most part, even with Jeter and others out. But now the pitching hasn't been as good as it was earlier in the season. And for the Bronx Bombers, they are putting up the worst offensive numbers they have had in better than 2 decades.
Earlier in the year, we were surprised with the output they were getting from that kind of secondary guys, and we said they're waiting on the cavalry. They're waiting on Granderson and Jeter and A-Rod, and Buchholz, Teixeira, and you know what? The cavalry never really came. The mash unit continued.
Teixeira came back, never got healthy, out again. Jeter came back, never got healthy, out again. A-Rod has contributed. And again, Alfonso Soriano has been the biggest pickup.
And in May, we thought Brian Cashman was going to be executive of the year with some of the pickups he made late into spring training.
Past the mound, Pedroia will get Ichiro 2 down. It's enough to make your head spin if you're Joe Girardi, just not knowing from day to day who's going to be in the lineup. They have used so many different players at so many different positions. 10 different first basemen, 11 different third basemen, and on it goes.
And yet, they're 3 games out or 2.5
games now,
of the wild card.
Yep. And that's the masterful job that man has done, Joe Girardi. You look at all the different lineups and people he's had to use, but he's found a way to get contributions at key moments.
Brendan Ryan is swinging a miss. The reason the Yankees are 2.5 out is the co-leaders in the wild card race both lost again. Texas lost again today, beaten by Oakland. That's 6 losses in a row for the Rangers. Oakland beat them 5-1. Tampa Bay lost as well, 6-4 to Minnesota. Cleveland had about a 3.5-hour rain delay before they got going, but they're leading the White Sox, as you can see, 6-1 in the 8th inning. As the Indians are right in the hunt, right on the heels of the Rays and Rangers. Yankees go in order to the bottom of the second at Fenway. Red Sox up 3-1. Bottom second, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Dan Schulman, John DeCroc, Oral Hershiser, Buster Olney. Red Sox up 3-1 on the Yankees trying to sweep the series. Xander Bogaerts, the 20-year-old infielder for the Red Sox, leads off the inning. He can play short. He can play third. He's at third tonight, making his 9th start in the big leagues. Third at third base. Will Middlebrooks, who had been very hot since coming back from the minors, is now in a slump again. Over his last 17, Bogaerts gets a start. After Bogaerts, it'll be Jackie Bradley Jr., the young center fielder for Boston, and then back to the top of the order for Dustin Pedroia. Ivan Nova, a rocky first inning.
Pitches like that, you just don't understand when he can miss by that much at the big league level. That's pretty much a double-A 1-1 breaking ball. And the first pitch there was really bad, this at bat. So he is just missing by too far.
Yes, he did.
You get a young hitter to chase that, but you get into the depth of the veterans, you're not going to get them to chase it.
ESPN's Hunt for October continues this week. We've got a doubleheader coming your way Wednesday night. The co-leaders in the American League wildcard race square off in St. Petersburg as the Rangers take on the Rays at 7 Eastern. And then at 10 Eastern, with Clayton Kershaw expected to be on the mound, it'll be the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, a part of Hispanic Heritage Month. 1 week from tonight, we will see the St. Louis Cardinals, who are battling the Pirates for top spot in the NL Central. The Cardinals will be in Milwaukee.
You wonder if he'd have backed up his bad breaking ball to Napoli with another breaking ball, the score would still be 1-1.
Jackie Bradley Jr. fouls it off. Coming out of the next break, we'll have a Baseball Tonight update for you, including the latest on the Rangers and Rays. A couple of teams the Yankees are trying to chase down, not to mention the Indians, Orioles, Royals trying to chase them down as well. Looks like 6 teams going for 2 playoff spots in the American League. He's okay. He's got a souvenir. He's okay. Scoring the game. Eating his hot dog. Back-to-back strikeouts of Bogaerts and Bradley for Nova. Here's how it stacks up right now in the American League wildcard race. A race that the Texas Rangers guys have played themselves into. They were right there neck and neck with Oakland about a week and a half ago. Oakland just keeps beating them. And the A's are out of sight right now if you're the Rangers. The Rangers have bigger problems right now. And the Indians look like they're on their way to a victory. And if they win that game against the White Sox, they will be 1/2 game behind the Rangers and Rays. Pedroia drives the ball to center. Granderson there, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Nova. Baseball Tonight update on the way. 3-1 Red Sox at the end of 2. Carl Berry, thank you. We'll look at the remaining schedules for the Rays and the Orioles, two of the wild card contenders. You can see the Orioles have a whole lot of Red Sox coming up in a huge 4-game series between the Rays and Orioles. That will go a long way towards determining the wild card standings in the American League. Those are just 2 of 6 teams in the hunt. Chris Stewart leads it off for the Yankees. 3-1 Boston, top third. And the count quickly 0-2.
Now, when you said quickly, Dan, it reminded me of the biggest tip that John Farrell gave to Clay Buchholz and John Lester at the beginning of the year, pacing between pitches to get right back on the rubber and not have long delays between pitches to attack. And you see he'll land and go right back and step on the rubber right here and look right in. He caught himself after the first pitch. He almost went back there and started to rub it up, and then he caught himself and he immediately got back on the rubber.
John Farrell, of course, used to be the pitching coach here in Boston for guys like John Lester and Clay Buchholz. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Stewart.
So many good things with working fast on the mound that can help you keep your fielders in the game. You feel like you're suffocating the hitter as far as staying on top of them. And then when things are spiraling out of control, you don't have any time to make any bad thoughts. You're just out there and just thinking about the next pitch and success.
He's frustrated with himself, though, tonight. On a number of occasions, you've seen that from Buchholz.
Well, both John and I, when we watched the last game that he threw against Tampa Bay, we said, okay, the stats were good. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks, but the pitch execution wasn't there. He was up a lot, and Tampa Bay had a bad approach. And there it is again.
From 0-2, he walks the number 9 hitter, Stewart, to begin the third.
You see this is back from Buchholz's first start. You see right here he's trying to go into a lefty. Watch where the ball ends up. And then ball away. Then a ball goes up again. And then even to a righty when he tried to get there. And he didn't walk a lot of guys, but he had a lot of 3-ball counts. And Tampa Bay just kind of let him back into it. And he's frustrated tonight just like he was there in Tampa, where he is struggling a little bit getting out front and getting the ball going down.
And that last pitch actually grazed the arm of Stewart, so it's actually a hit by pitch, not a walk, as the leadoff man is aboard here in the third.
At 1-2, you might let that hit you. 3-2, you get out of the way. General rule, Dan.
If you're going to go down to first, go down without getting hit. Stewart aboard. Back to the top of the order for Granderson. Granderson walked and scored in the first. The Yankees took an early 1-0 lead, only to see the Red Sox come back with 3 in the bottom half of the first. And when he's missing Oral, he's missing up.
Yeah, and part of a rehab and a comeback is just as much mental as physical, and it looks to me like he's healthy. He's just not committing to finishing the pitches and trusting his arm at the very end of the delivery after foot strike, just to finish and to trust that the arm is healthy and he throw it down. Sometimes you have to get so angry or so engulfed in the competition that you forget you were hurt and you really just commit and just go, forget it. I'm going to throw it down there and I'm going to compete. Right now, he just still looks like he's thinking to me. He's thinking, am I okay?
And as a hitter, you're thinking, make him get it in the strike zone. Make sure it's a strike. Don't help him.
Well, missing badly again.
This is not even an adjustment. This is just, he is just throwing this ball uphill. And boy, watching that slow motion replay just reminded me of something he told me yesterday when we sat for about a half hour, that he can't throw uphill. He was collapsing his backside. That back knee just overbent. That one he stayed a little taller on.
And he gets a swing and a miss for out number 1. They haven't lost much steam. Remember, they had A-Rod here for a series last month. Now they've had him here for 3 more games this weekend. And they're still enjoying getting on his case.
Well, that's not ever going to end, Dan.
No. Grounded out, driven a run on the first.
Got a feeling they'll hate him forever.
Joe Girardi saying if all goes well, he hopes to get A-Rod back in the field at third base, perhaps up in Toronto. The Yankees are there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so DHing this weekend, off day tomorrow. Although you wonder about the viability of Alex Rodriguez playing third on the turf up in Toronto, but they'd like to get him back into the field if they can. Mark Reynolds filling in at third right now. The Yankees have used that DH spot, guys. It's been a revolving door for them. I believe they've had 14 different players start a designated hitter this year. They've got a lot of older players, so they give them a partial day off by sticking them in the DH spot.
Well, with what they've had, the limited options that Joe Girardi has, it's not like you can give guys rest. You know, your rest is, yes, you're going to DH today. Enjoy the blow.
Runs inside, 2 balls and a strike on A-Rod.
Can you imagine being the Yankee trainer and coming to Joe and saying, I got 4 guys that need a DH today?
Yeah. Hey, who's DHing today? Well, I don't know. I got 8 candidates.
Yeah. Usually guys are mad when they have to do that.
I tell you what, though, in all our meetings with Joe, he's been, you know, as positive a human being as you can be with all the negativity surrounding this team as far as injuries go.
And a base hit past a diving Drew for Alex Rodriguez. Stewart up to second.
Well, you mentioned how sore Alex Rodriguez is with the, you know, with the hips and the legs. I mean, you don't play for a while. You know, you're going to have some aches and pains. And I mean, that's a pitch that's just out over the plate. And Alex again. This is a. But watch the legs, though. There's not a lot of legs in this swing. This is all arms, and that's a sign of, you know, I'm sore and my legs aren't working the way they should right now, and I probably need a day off. Hopefully tomorrow on our off day I can get one, but you know, he's still strong enough to hit that ball past Drew, and now the Yankees got something cooking.
With their best hitter coming to the plate in Robinson Cano. 2 outs, or 2 on rather, 1 out. A 3-1 deficit for the Yankees here in the third in Boston. Cano with a fly ball to left field his first time up. Another very big season offensively for Cano, and a lot of the time he didn't have a whole lot of protection either in front of him or behind him, but still has managed to put up big numbers. And a ground ball to second. There's 1 and 2. Big double play for Clay Buchholz and the Red Sox. 3-1 in Boston going to the bottom of the third. We'll see David Ortiz. He's due up second when we come back. Welcome back to Fenway Park. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. The Red Sox lead the Yankees 3-1. And Daniel Nava looks at an off-speed pitch in for a strike. Nava doubled and scored in the 3-run first inning. He'll be followed by David Ortiz and then a Mike Carp. Nava's average up to 302 after the double. And it's going to go up a little bit more as he drops one into center field for a base hit. So the leadoff man is on for Big Papi. Last time up with the shift on, Ortiz bounced one right about where the shortstop would have been, but with a runner at second, Reynolds, the third baseman, had to stay closer to third. So big gaping hole at the shortstop position, and Ortiz bounced one into left field for an RBI single. Now with no runner at second, more of a traditional shift, if you will, something that Ortiz sees all the time.
Yeah, Dan, you're right there. You see where Reynolds is playing, and with Nava at second base, Reynolds did have to stay closer in case of a steal. Now they got the rate. I just don't know how Cano's going to turn a double play if they hit a grounder to him.
You don't see.
He's got to hit the cutoff man.
You're right. Usually when there's a potential double play situation, you'll see that guy, in this case Cano.
Yeah.
He'll be in on the dirt. He'll be playing to pull as much, but he'll be in on the dirt.
He's going to have to hit Ryan with a cutoff, and Ryan's going to throw it to Reynolds.
Robinson Cano beat a shift like this earlier in the series with a bunt down there for a double. I don't know. David Ortiz very easily could try and slash one over there or bunt it.
Takes it low. Nova falls behind. 3 balls and a strike to the always dangerous Ortiz.
I think I'm sitting breaking ball. He threw him a 2-1 breaking ball. I'm looking, or a 2-0 breaking ball. I'm looking for it here again. 3-1, sitting on something slow. This could be that gap in right center.
What a stop! And what a double play! Brendan Ryan starting a spectacular double play.
Well, the bat sometimes isn't there for Brendan Ryan, but that has never left him that glove work. Unbelievable turn. And look at Reynolds getting down under, too. Look how hard this ball is hit. Ryan didn't have much time to react, but look at Reynolds gets down under, making Nava go down on him. Got to get down on that slide. Well, he got out of that jam.
So that's your garden variety 6-5-3 double play. And Ryan has always been known for his glove. Picked up in a deal. This is in September, so even if the Yankees were to make the postseason, he wouldn't be eligible. But with Jeter out for the rest of the year, they needed somebody else. Went out and got Ryan to play some shortstop. He can play it well. Broken bat, little liner off the bat of Carp to end the inning. 3-1 Boston to the end of 3.
one thing to do. You make the call and hand the ball to number 42.
Earlier tonight, Mariano Rivera honored here at Fenway Park, as he has been at every visiting ballpark, in his final game at every visiting ballpark all season long. And perhaps nowhere do they have more respect for him than they do here in Boston. Once the game got going, Mike Napoli at it again. A 2-run homer, a towering shot to straightaway center field. 3-1 Boston, fourth inning, as Alfonso Soriano leads it off for the Yankees. A very nice ceremony involving Rivera with David Ortiz, Dustin Pedroia, John Lester, and Koji Uehara, the 4 Red Sox who presented Rivera with a gift, each of them with a different gift. Of course, Rivera's probably had more moments, more notable moments against the Red Sox than he has against any other team in his career, for obvious reasons. Major League Baseball's all-time saves leader with 651, and there's always been kind of a mutual admiration, guys, between Rivera and Red Sox fans. They're born and raised to hate everything that has to do with the Yankees, but most Red Sox fans grudgingly admit not only do they admire it, they kind of like Mariano Rivera.
And I think if you ask them, a lot of them probably like Jeter too, because they haven't been that lightning rod, that guy that shows up the other team, right, so to speak.
Right.
And those are two professionals. They go about it the right way. Mariano's been doing it forever.
And part of this goes back to 2005, after the Red Sox came back and to beat the Yankees in 2004. The Yankees opened up here in 2005. Red Sox had got their rings. The Yankees came out when they were introduced on opening day. It was kind of for lack of a better term, a Bronx cheer for Mariano Rivera, and he handled it, Oral, with unbelievable class, tipping his cap, smiling, understanding where it was coming from, and the way he handled that kind of endeared him to Red Sox fans.
Yeah, it was a very humble moment for him, but he handled it very graciously. And I think that they loved him because of this.
You wonder if he'd have handled as graciously if he hadn't won a World Series yet. I mean, that's a lot of that too is confidence, knowing that you have a great team. You're probably going to get back again into that situation, and he's been dominant in that situation before. He wasn't in 2004, but 2009 he was pretty good.
On the first gift that the Red Sox gave him tonight, of the many gifts, was a portrait of that moment, with him smiling towards the crowd and tipping his hat.
They also gave him the rubber from the visiting bullpen. They gave him a seat from 1934 here at Fenway Park with his number 42 on it. And they gave him, when a pitcher enters the game here at Fenway, Soriano fouls it right off the mask of Saltalamacchia. It's the hand-operated scoreboard for the most part out in the Green Monster, so they put the opposing pitcher's number up there. You can see 47 for Nova's up there on the board right now. They handed him the 42 that was up there every time that he came in to pitch, and all the Red Sox autographed it, which was a very nice touch.
So he can't come in tonight because they don't have a number.
They don't have a number for him, yeah, so he's ineligible. Brilliant when you think about it.
Smart move by the Sox.
And as far as eligibility, he is well rested, and Joe Girardi told us before the game we could even see him as early as the 8th inning. They can get ahead.
A leadoff walk. Soriano was aboard, and Buchholz continues to battle his command. Let's go down to Buster Olney.
Guys, I always thought that the most underrated part about Mariano Rivera was how competitive he is. I started covering him for the New York Times in 1998, the year after he gave up that big home run to Sandy Alomar Jr. in the playoffs. And the next year I saw him answer over and over the question of whether or not that homer really hung with him.
Over Bay, double play ball.
And so every time he would answer that question, he'd say, no, it didn't bother me at all. And after hearing that over and over, I said, it really didn't bother you, did it? And he said, no. And it was like at that moment, the veil of humility came down and the competitor came out. He said, you know why? Because I made that home run. I said, what are you talking about? He said, I'm throwing hard. It's a right-handed hitter. He sticks his bat out. If anybody else was pitching, it'd be a fly ball to right fielder. I made that home run. So even in a moment of defeat, in his mind, he controlled the moment.
And fiercely competitive, not brash or arrogant in any way, but fiercely competitive. And Earl, you were on that Indians team in '97. What do you remember?
Well, he was throwing 96 to 98 miles an hour, and that's what he meant. I made that home run as far as supplying the velocity, and Sandy Alomar got the barrel of the bat on it, and it was a huge home run for us. And terrible moment for Mariano, but used that to fuel his fire, and we know the rest of his career was unbelievable.
Number 42 has 42 career postseason saves. That's an all-time record. And even though we remember the Alomar, the Luis Gonzalez, whatever the case may be, his career postseason ERA, guys, is 0.70, less than 1. His ERA in postseason, when you're facing the best, when the pressure is the greatest, his ERA is less than 1 in the month of October.
And as far as the number of innings in the postseason, it's the equivalent for a short reliever of about 2 complete seasons. So he's done it for a long time.
Or do you think he keeps looking down? Is he not happy with his landing spot, with his mechanics? What's he battling right now?
I think he's battling something other than what he should be concentrating on. I think he's working with his mechanics, but I think he needs to battle his confidence in his shoulder, because a lot of times when you're missing up, you're just not confident enough that you can hold onto the ball long enough to throw it down. That's where he needs to be. Stay with his delivery, trust that his shoulder is feeling good again and strong enough. And this is the part of rehab or coming back that's mental. You're so used to about to feel some pain that you have to forget that it's not there.
3-2 to Mark Reynolds. Walked him. Second walk of the inning, third of the night. He's also hit a batter. And you can see how frustrated he is, and we've seen that look on his face time and time again.
The Red Sox are very fortunate they have time to get him back, because this is a guy, 10-0 with a 1.61 ERA. It could be an integral part and a fixture, of course, in the Red Sox hopes to win a World Series this year.
Here's Ichiro, who grounded out his first time up. Compared to what you saw in his start against Tampa Bay, guys, is this about the same, or is this a step back?
To me, it's a step back, because he hasn't gotten any better since his outing in Tampa. He's actually gotten, seems like, worse, Worrell. And are you surprised that Juan Nieves or John Farrell, one hasn't come out and said anything to him, or are they just going to let him work through it?
They're letting him work through it right now, but I'm sure they're talking about it. And John Farrell's got his hands on his hip. That kind of body language is of concern. He's making an adjustment right now. At least he's now down below the knees and now up and away. But
problem is, a couple of them are bouncing in front of home plate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't usually get many swings on that one, Dan. Not since Vladimir Guerrero quit playing.
Not an ideal ball to strike ratio. You saw 29 balls, 37 strikes for Buchholz. Roller to short. And even with the control problems, no damage done against Buchholz here in the fourth. A big night for Mariano Rivera, the game's last ever number 42.
When Mariano Rivera leaves this field, the last time wearing number 42, it's the last time that we'll see someone wearing that uniform here inside Fenway Park.
Well, congratulations on a great career.
Everybody's going to miss him. He's great for baseball. It's going to be kind of a sad moment for all of the world of baseball, as far as I'm concerned.
Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. Try targeted relief with the power of Bayer Advanced Aspirin. And Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. With Oral Hershiser, John Kruk, and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Schulman, and this is Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN as we go to the bottom of the fourth here at Fenway. The Red Sox trying to sweep the series and leading the Yankees 3-1. 2 of the runs coming on a home run by the man at the plate right now, Mike Napoli. For Napoli, home run number 22, RBIs number 88 and 89. 7 of the 22 have come against the Yankees. 20 RBIs in 16 games against the Yankees this year. He has made the adjustment to first base, has worked extremely hard defensively, and by all accounts has made significant improvements. But the reason they got him, Crucky, is to do things like that.
Well, Oral said it. He's one of the best high ball hitters, if not the best high ball hitter in all of baseball. That's where Ivan Nova went with that one, and that's where Mike Napoli went deep to center. And Ross with the little the beard tug. Wouldn't you think that would hurt?
I would think. Wouldn't hurt a fake one.
No, that's like a movie one.
But they got some serious beards going on in that Red Sox clubhouse. Not only are you supposed to grow a beard, you're not even supposed to trim it and clean it up like Victorino does. You're supposed to do it like this. You're just supposed to let it go.
Napoli admitted that he is trimming his, so he keeps it out of the soup.
David Ross proud of the gray that he's gotten his.
Yeah, he trims everything but the gray, it looks like, David Ross.
I guess you could say for Napoli, he's the best beard-high fastball hitter there is.
Dustin Pedroia says he's got to trim his or he starts looking like a lion. And Johnny Gomes, I guess, the guy who got all this started. Let's go back to the studio for an update, guys. Isn't it something else for the Indians? Just a half game back, as Carl mentioned, of the Rays and the Rangers. And on paper, the dreaded on paper comment, they've got the easiest schedule of any contender the rest of the way. They just beat up on the White Sox. And the Indians are right there with 2 weeks to go in the regular season.
Our last Sunday game was in Cincinnati, and I had some business to do in Cleveland. Drove over there, threw out the first pitch at the Indians game. Got to see Terry Francona, and the Indians visited with him for about an hour. What a loose bunch of young guys that are in the middle of this. And right up to the moment of the first pitch ceremony, I'm sitting there talking with different guys on the team, and they're so relaxed but focused. And it is so much fun to see what Terry has done there.
You know, it's funny. The Red Sox are relaxed. The Indians are relaxed. The A's are certainly relaxed. I mean, a lot of the teams that are doing well, you can see how much they like each other, how much they enjoy playing together as a team. They're having a good time.
Braves.
The Cardinals.
Yep.
Relaxed but focused.
Tito might not know it's September yet, though. So.
There's a ground ball pulled to second for one, and the throw hits the runner, Napoli. And you talked about Mark Reynolds dropping down. Remember, Reynolds is not used to being over there, but with the shift on, he is, and Reynolds is looking around like saying, like, I didn't mean to do it, but he.
No, it's not Reynolds' fault, and it's not Napoli's. I mean, you're taught to slide with your hands up so you don't drag them on the ground and possibly break a finger or break a wrist, and that's exactly what Napoli did right there. I'm sure Joe Girardi's trying to point out the case. He threw his arms up to block the ball, to disrupt the double play. I mean, you see it there. The hand just, I mean, you see Napoli's hand go up and around, and it was just perfect. Look at Napoli's hand go around, and it just happened to, that's where Reynolds was throwing the ball. It wasn't like he was intending to knock the ball down with his hand. It just where Reynolds threw it. And you don't fault either guy.
Right. You wonder if Girardi also might have been making the case that Napoli wasn't in the vicinity of the bag. Didn't look like Napoli could reach out and touch the bag on that slide. But 4-5 on the putout. Fielder's choice for Saltalamacchia.
I know one thing. His hand's hurting. That's his top hand, too, hitting. That's his right hand.
Here's Stephen Drew. Curveball for a strike. Chris Stewart has had a tough time in recent games, just missing some pitches that look like they should have been called.
Well, two mistakes there. The pitch, first of all, you're an 0-1 coming off a curveball. You got to throw a nice low fastball down by the knees, so you shouldn't miss by this much. And then Stewart, he's got to get not only the glove on, he's got to catch that easily.
So the pass ball moves the runner into scoring position. And there's some stirring in the Yankee bullpen. Broken to bat, ground ball to the shortstop Ryan. And the out at first, 2 down, the runner to third. Right-hander Adam Warren is up in the Yankee pen. The Yankees right now, it's September, expanded rosters. They are carrying 13 relievers. 13 relievers on the team right now. Joe Girardi's had to use all kinds of guys because David Robertson had a sore shoulder. He was down for a few days. Sean Kelly was out for a few days. Boone Logan's got a bad elbow. Rivera threw a ton of pitches last week in a short period of time. So just like Joe Girardi's been mixing and matching in the lineup, he has done the same thing in the bullpen. 55 players used by the Yankees this year. That is a franchise record. No swing.
First strike both at bats for Xander Bogaerts been a fastball in, and that's something with the runner in scoring position. In the minor leagues, he was probably maybe getting pitched around or getting pitched differently to. In the big leagues, they're coming after you. When you're hitting eighth and you're young, you're getting pitched to. He's taking taking too many fastballs to me early to get behind, and now he's chasing breaking balls. He did his first at bat, and right there Nova throws another one for 1-2. Wouldn't surprise me if he throws another one here to strike him out.
Sinking fastball misses low.
Here comes the breaking ball. If I'm calling the pitches right now, and trust your catcher's going to block it. Bounce it right down the middle or outer half.
Or catch it.
Coming back inside. You got an eighth hitter up there, a young guy that you want to get out. You go to your out pitch. There's no sense giving him a chance to get to a count where he might walk.
He chased breaking balls his first at bat.
Now you're backed into a count where you want to throw a 3-2 breaking ball. Do you really want to give a chance to walk him? Jeez.
No intent, obviously. Ball 4, curveball. Larry Rothschild's going to go out and try to figure out what's going on right now with Ivan Nova.
You build a count where you get ahead and you've got a chance. You just so loose. Free and easy, yes, but loose and inconsistent for sure. And you see this ball just comes out the top real early, has no chance of breaking and getting back to the plate.
That's hard to do, isn't it?
It's
twice in a game?
Yeah. It's a real pretty pitcher in slow motion, but it's not real pretty when the ball ends up there. Needs to accelerate through and drive that ball down. The thing that's frustrating about Ivan Nova, not only for the Yankees, but just the intensity. You don't see it coming out of his pores like you do the whole Red Sox team. And some people can be laid back, and it relates a lot to results. I mean, Mariano Rivera, the all-time great closer that we're honoring here tonight, the fact that he goes slow about his business and never is, unflappable. But boy, he executes his pitches. And when you look this kind of lazy on the mound and can't execute, people think you're not trying.
The batter is Jackie Bradley Jr. and another breaking ball misses for ball 1. Bradley struck out his first time up.
That pitch is eliminated to me if I'm Jackie Bradley. But I'm not going to miss the fastball or take it.
He got another breaking ball and he fouls it off 1-1.
He got a breaking ball, but it was up and it was a strike. So even if, like John said, he's going to eliminate the breaking ball, you get a hanger. It doesn't matter if you've eliminated in your mind. They're still easy to hit.
I mean, when he should have backed up the breaking ball to Napoli, he didn't.
Pitch upstairs, 2 balls and a strike on Bradley. 3-1. Boston leads, bottom of the 4th. The Yankees 2.5 out of a wild card spot right now. Texas and Tampa Bay both lost earlier today, so the Yankees have picked up a half a game to get within 2.5 even before they take the field tonight. The Indians won, so the Indians are just a half game out. Baltimore won, Kansas City lost today, but all 6 teams still in the hunt with 2 weeks left in the regular season. Runner goes from first. Throw down. Dropped. Run in. Everybody's safe. Saltalamacchia scores. Bogarts to second. 4-1 Red Sox.
Poor pitch selection, poor pitch execution, backs you into a 2-out walk, make a first and third situation. A young runner then can double steal with you and cost you a run. The Yankees end up down 4-1 from lack of execution, really, from the center of the diamond on the mound with Ivan Nova. It's ball 1, ball 2, even if you get ahead.
Now Chopper back to the mound, which will end the inning. The double steal produces a run, and we're at the end of 4 here at Fenway, and the Red Sox now lead the Yankees 4-1. Fenway, with the Red Sox now leading the Yankees 4-1 as we go to the 5th inning. They had some weather issues in Chicago, so coverage of the Geico 400, the first race of the chase, will resume About 20 minutes from now, 10 o'clock Eastern Time tonight, over on ESPN2. Brendan Ryan bunts right through it for strike one. 8-9-1, Ryan, Chris Stewart, Curtis Granderson for the Yankees. The only good news the Yankees have had today is that the Rays and the Rangers both lost. But the Yankees trailing here 4-1. They've lost the first 2 games of this series already. Two balls and a strike. Buchholz has fallen behind a lot of hitters. I don't know if you would say, Orel, he's fortunate to have only given up 1 run, or he's made his best pitches when he had to tonight.
Well, he's fortunate. His offense has gotten him 4, and he's had a little breathing room. And then as he builds the innings for the Yankees, he has 2 outs, and he's been able to squeak by. But he's definitely not sharp. We talked at the top of the show about how sharp he needs to get between now and October, so that he can be part of the rotation that the Red Sox want him there in the playoffs.
In there for a strike and a full count on Ryan.
Pretty good pitch to let go, 3-1.
When your lowest pitch is a very hittable fastball, that's not good news for Clay Buchholz.
Another walk. Between innings, our Buster Olney with Boston manager John Farrell.
John, what can you tell us about Mike Napoli's hand?
You know, on the attempted double play there, he got it in the palm of the hand. He should be okay. I mean, he's a pretty tough guy, so I don't think that he's been hit by a number of pitches this year, so I don't think a throw is going to take him out of this game.
We've seen Clay Buchholz struggle with his command. What's the adjustment for him?
Yeah, it looks like he's just a little jumpy at times, not as sharp or consistent feel to the secondary pitches as his last time out 5 days ago down in Tampa. So that's part of him getting back in the flow of things, and we've got 2 more starts after tonight to lock that down a little bit more consistent.
John, thanks.
Of course, the Red Sox 9 games up in the American League East look like they are well on their way to a spot in the postseason, and not only that, like they'll have an opportunity to set things up any way they want to. The playoffs, if they win the East, the playoffs wouldn't start for them until Friday, October the 4th. So the regular season would end on a Sunday. And because of the 1-game wild card games, the National League Division Series wouldn't get going until Thursday. The American League Division Series wouldn't get going until Friday. So the Red Sox would have 4 days off between the end of the regular season and the beginning of the Division Series. So they can set things up any way they want to. 0-2 the count on Stewart.
Clay has gotten hitters to the 2-strike count, but he continually usually misses up. I mean, John Farrell said that he gets a little jumpy. That could be from trying to try too hard with your body, and then your arm can't catch up, and so you miss up. Slow your body down, let your arm catch up, and drive the ball down.
Fly ball into shallow left center field. And a catch made by Karp for out number 1.
Missed up again right there and got away with a high cutter. But take a look at these 2-strike pitches from Clay Buchholz tonight as he has kind of lived on the edge. 2-2 right there. Another one, 3-2. He's trying to get the ball down, but this is a bunch of up misses, just jumping at the plate and dragging his arm. And that arm is late. You want to break your hands over the rubber. You want to time your arm up with your delivery so that you can drive the ball to the lower part of the strike zone. It's at 6 3-2 counts, Dan.
4 walks. He's also hit a batter. As Granderson takes a strike. Granderson a walk and a strikeout tonight. A free agent at the end of the year, and as much as the Yankees have been in a constant state of flux this year because of all the injuries, you look ahead to next year and you wonder what the team is going to look like. There could be so many changes, and there appear to be so many issues. So many older players, so many contracts up. The looming threat, of course, of a suspension to Alex Rodriguez. Will Derek Jeter be healthy enough to get his career going again? And here, speaking of change, here's Vernon Wells out on the on-deck circle for Alex Rodriguez. It's like the Yankees can't get through a night without something happening. A-Rod had a base hit the last time up. He's been battling soreness in his hamstring coming off the hip surgery. Just certainly not running like we are used to see him running. And Joe Girardi always seems to be forced to juggle things. Runner will advance. Some very big names have spent a lot of time on the disabled list this year. The New York Yankees had their projected opening day lineup. It was not together one game. Not one single game this year did they have their desired 9 players all in the lineup at the same time. That's a wild pitch charge to Buchholz. And Granderson is gone. What do you guys see if you look ahead to next year? What do you see as the forecast for the Yankees? What are the issues? What are the moves they have to make?
Cano is one.
That's the big,
what are they going to do with him? I mean, he's their best player. I mean, what do you do? Do you give him what he wants, or do you let him walk?
And then the rotation has to get younger and healthier. CC Sabathia, got to get a little stronger and get through a year full. And Kuroda is not getting any younger.
He's a free agent.
Andy Pettitte will probably retire. Maybe he'll come back. Who knows? Phil Hughes is a free agent.
Talk about a team with more questions than answers.
Third base a question mark. Shortstop's a question mark because Derek, we'll see how he comes back healthy wise. Cano at second base is a free agent.
The Sheriff should come back healthy, so that's one position that should be okay.
Rivera's retiring, so presumably David Robertson, if they stay within, would probably be the next guy to assume the closer's job.
And his health hasn't been immaculate this year.
Left field. Unless they bring Granderson back, then you have Gardner in left field, or Granderson in left field, Gardner in center.
And they got Soriano, of course, one more year on his deal.
The manager.
Yeah, the manager's contract is up as well. Wells with a bouncing ball, tough play. Bogart spins and throws to get him to end the inning. Nice play by Xander Bogaerts, top of the order. Dustin Pedroia leads it off for the Red Sox when we come back. Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Sold out Fenway Park in Boston, and the Red Sox with a 4-1 lead, and the Yankees going to the bottom of the 5th. Top of the order, Dustin Pedroia takes ball 1. Pedroia's 0 for 2 tonight. He'll be followed by Daniel Nava and then David Ortiz. The Red Sox, the single biggest turnaround in all of baseball from last season to this point of this season. If you're looking at winning percentage, they won only 69 games all of last year. They've already won 91 this year with 12 games left to play, including tonight's. They've turned over a bunch of the roster. Good curveball there. Ben Cherington deserves a lot of credit. Made that huge deal with the Dodgers last year. Gave up a lot of talent, a lot of big names, a lot of payroll. And they took that money and they put it into some quality guys who just love to play baseball. Your baseball version of the gym rat. The Red Sox went out and got about 5 or 6 of them. Johnny Gomes right there on the left. He might be right at the core of the gym rats on this team, although they got so many of them.
Yeah, he's the lead rat, it seems like. Yeah,
these are 3 new guys right there. Gomes, Peavy, Ross, all of them just love to play baseball. And it was Johnny Gomes back in the spring who was the driving force behind what's become kind of the symbol, the persona, if you will, of the Red Sox this year, and that's the beards. Not only starting them, I mean letting them out, letting them go. Now they tug on their beards when they hit a home run. David Ross got the salt and pepper thing going. Everybody's got their own make and model, but it's been one of the many unifying things on the Boston Red Sox. Of course, winning makes everything better. Winning makes everything funnier. That's Pedroia at the beginning of the year. His headshot, as we say in TV, and this is what he looks like now. Johnny Gomes didn't look anything like that. Napoli's look has changed a lot. Saltalamacchia's look has changed. David Ross has changed. Just about everybody except Jake Peavy and the coaching staff's got a beard right now.
Even she does.
Oh my gosh.
It's caught on. It's caught on big.
It's even becoming part of our crew. Here's Nava. Now, explain to folks, guys, we sit in John Farrell's office, and one of you guys says, what do you like about this guy, or what do you like about the guys in the clubhouse? And John Farrell says, I've got baseball players. Explain to people watching. What does he mean by that?
Very few iPods and iPads in the locker room playing video games. Everybody's sitting around talking baseball, watching a baseball game on TV, going into the food room or into the training room, and the baseball conversation continues. They get to the ballpark instead of about 2 or 3. They get a little earlier and they're here playing baseball.
Yeah, that to me is what it is. They get here early, and they can't wait to get there. For 2 reasons. 1, because it's fun, and 2, you have no idea what's going to happen in that clubhouse. With Gomes and them, how do you know?
And John Farrell says one of the best things, too, is that if something needs to be dealt with, he's got the players who police it themselves. And sometimes, as you guys well know and can explain to folks, sometimes it's better coming from a teammate than from a coach or a manager, right?
Yeah, because you deal with your teammates every day. Sometimes you can tune out a manager on occasion. I know we had that in Philadelphia, where it was, if there was a problem, it was dealt with by us. And I don't think our manager Jim Fergosi knew half the stuff that happened.
Probably best for you he didn't.
Well,
some of the stuff. The other half of the stuff.
A lot of the stuff is.
You saw Victorino and Dempster there. They're 2 of the new guys. We talked about Gomes and Napoli and Ross. I mean, these are guys, even when they were all on their other teams, when you talked about these guys, when you heard about these guys from other people, they said, great teammate, good in the clubhouse, grinder, baseball junkie, all this kind of. And now Ben Cherington, the Red Sox, brought so many of these guys in, and the culture here is diametrically opposed to the way that it was just a year ago.
I mean, the players will admit that they have the same ability approximately as the opposing teams. They said, but we're going to grind it out. We're going to have a plan. We're going to do it as a team, and we're going to do it every day, every at bat, every pitch.
What that does too is it puts trust in your teammates. The more you get to know them, the more you trust them. The guys hitting in front of you, guys hitting behind you. And what that does is, you talk about how many pitches they see, how many times they walk, their on-base percentage. A lot of that has to do with because you don't have to go out of the zone. Okay, I can trust the guy behind me now because I know what he's like in a key situation. It was like that with our team in Philadelphia. They knew, Lenny could take a walk, Dykstra could take a walk because he knew that Duncan or Morandini behind him had the ability to drive in runs. They could take a walk, I was behind them, and then Dave Allen's behind me, Darren Dalton. You trusted it, so you knew you didn't have to expand the zone. And they wear guys out. I mean, Nova's thrown, 852 pitches already?
81 pitches right now, looking for his first out in the 5th inning.
Crookie.
Left-hander Mike Zagurski now up in the Yankee pen.
Thought I was looking at myself there for a second.
Runner goes. Pitch is laced toward the right field corner. Fair ball. And it skips into the seats for a ground rule double. Pedroia will stop at third. Nava is 3 for 3 with 2 doubles tonight.
That one cost him a run right there. That short wall over there by Pesky's pole. That's a higher wall. That ball bounces around, and Pedroia scores easy because he was running on the play.
Another high breaking ball right here. He's just staying up there and spin and ends up about thigh high right in the swing.
Earl, those are pitches right there that you're lucky he only hit a double. Because those are, I guarantee if you threw that pitch to David Ortiz, it ain't going to be a double.
And he's not going to give Ortiz a chance to swing the bat. They'll walk him and load the bases for Mike Carp. And you wonder if this is going to be all for Nova. Warren is throwing again. So the bases are loaded with nobody out. Already 4-1 for Boston. And Nova will face Mike Carp. Carp as recently as Wednesday hit a grand slam, and that was a pinch hit grand slam. Then in the 10th inning to give the Red Sox a 7-3 win down in Tampa Bay. The Red Sox already have 8 grand slams on the season. That ties a franchise record. Looking to blow it open here in the 5th.
Be interested to see if the intensity rises for Ivan Nova on the mound. If it does right here and he can get out of this jam, I'd be asking, where's it been all game?
Infield creeping in for the Yankees as Carp flails at it, and the count is 0-2.
It's the first 0-1 pitch from Nova tonight where he threw a good first pitch, and the second pitch was better instead of worse.
Maybe he's angry.
That might work.
Hope. You look at the bases loaded, no outs. I don't think I'd be too happy.
Gets hit by the pitch, bounces in and hits him to force in a run. That's going to be all for Nova. 5-1 Red Sox, bases loaded, nobody out. Joe Girardi going to the pen. Joe Girardi to the pen. 5-1 to Boston as we bring you back to Fenway for the bottom of the 5th inning. It's a battle between division rivals, both of whom are looking to avoid an 0-2 start as the Steelers take on the Bengals tomorrow night. Coverage begins with a Monday night countdown at 6:30. It's Pittsburgh and Cincinnati tomorrow at 8:25 Eastern on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. Adam Warren comes out of the pen to make his 30th relief appearance, his 31st relief appearance of the season for the New York Yankees. He has made 1 start as well, and he inherits about as tough a situation as you can inherit. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a hot hitter with Mike Napoli at the plate. Napoli is homered and walked tonight, making Napoli 13 for his last 30 with 5 homers, and as you can see, he has absolutely thrived this year with the bases loaded. Didn't like it, but it's 0-2.
This K-zone thing. Wow. Nice call.
For you.
It's right there.
And Warren gets him for the first out of the inning.
Slider, fastball up and in, and slider. The last one, if Napoli hits, you probably say it's a hanger, but he gets away with it. He throws one right there and just dots a perfect pitcher's pitch. Another perfect pitcher's pitch. Low and away, up and in, and now medium away, but some sharp break that misses the bat.
So it should have been 2-0.
K-zone, which is very scientific and very accurate, called them both strikes.
When the pitches are called strikes. Here's Saltalamacchia. And he takes a borderline pitch in for a strike. Saltalamacchia has a grand slam to his credit recently. That was Friday night to break a 4-4 tie in the 7th inning. Hit it off Preston to Claiborne. The Red Sox went on to win 8-4. He has had a very productive year. The Yankees have just come back to tie it at 4. The Saltalamacchia home run gave Boston the margin of victory. 13 homers, 59 RBIs, 36 doubles for Jared Saltalamacchia this year. And a guy who's a free agent at the end of the year, but obviously figures to be in demand. You'd imagine the Red Sox want to keep him.
The Yankees might need a catcher. Of course, he'd have to shave that beard if he became a Yankee.
That's true.
That could factor into the decision.
Buster writes his daily blog. He did a story on guys that enhanced their value this year or depleted their value, and Saltalamacchia was at the top of the list of guys who enhanced their value.
Warren on in relief of Nova. 5 runs in, bases loaded, 1 out, 1 run in this inning, 5 of the night against Nova. With 3 on a base, his responsibility. And back-to-back strikeouts for Warren.
What a job he's doing right there with a changeup. First strikeout mainly with sliders to Napoli, and then this changeup right here makes it look like a fastball near the middle of the plate. And watch the run and the depth. This ball goes down. He turns that over, takes the speed off, and adds some movement. This is the 2 middle fingers in his hand, kind of a Fosh changeup. It has great depth.
So 2/3 of the way out of a major jam. The batter is now Stephen Drew.
With every hitter, the Yankees infield have gotten to go a little deeper, and now as deep as they can be. Before they were playing in with no outs and the bases loaded with Napoli up. Then they were playing double play depth, the middle infielders. Now they can move back and play regular.
Playing him to pull slightly.
I think if it was 4 outs, they'd be playing outfield.
0-2. Boy, mixing the changeup at 83 and the fastball at 94.
Well, the way Warren's pitching, they don't even need gloves. Joe's probably thinking, wow, I should have started him.
Nova really didn't have it from the get-go tonight. Gave up 3 runs in the first, battled his command most of the night. 3rd consecutive subpar outing for Ivan Nova. Left center field, caught to end the inning. What a job by Adam Warren. Inherits bases loaded, nobody out, and does not give up any more runs. As we bring you back to Fenway Park, you just saw a look that there are 6 teams battling for the 2 final playoff spots in the American League. The Rays and Rangers both lost earlier today. The Indians beat the White Sox after a lengthy rain delay. Baltimore won. Kansas City lost. As we take a look at our iShares by BlackRock hunt for October standings. Precious few days remain. 2 weeks after tonight left in the regular season, and 2 of these teams, barring something extremely unforeseen, a collapse by one of the division leaders, 2 of those teams are going to wind up in the postseason. You guys have a hunch? Is there a team or 2 in that group that stands out to you right now?
I like Cleveland. I because of their schedule. They play Minnesota, the White Sox some more. Then I just I think that Terry bringing in that relaxed, laid back. Like I said, don't even know it's September. That's a good way to be. He knows it's September.
He can't find his car keys, but he knows it's September.
Yeah, he won't know how to get home.
Yeah. Cano pops it up. Tricky play into left field, and coming in and over his Carp to make the catch. Yeah, the schedules, we showed you the Rays and the Orioles a little bit earlier. The Indians only have 3 games left against another contending team. That's against Kansas City. The Texas Rangers are in a free fall right now. They lost again to Oakland today. They've lost 6 in a row. They've got 4 with Tampa Bay. Huge series. between the Rays and Rangers. And that'll be the first game of our Wednesday night baseball doubleheader here on ESPN. The Royals are still hanging around as well, although they lost today, so they remain 3.5 out with a few teams ahead of them. The Indians are just a half game back of Tampa Bay and Texas. Baltimore won today. The Yankees in danger of not picking up any ground unless they can come back and defeat the Red Sox tonight. Yankees still have a series left with the Giants. Remember, interleague play running all through the season this year, part of the new configuration, the new schedule. They've still got the Giants coming to Yankee Stadium, and then they finish off with a series at Houston. So they've got kind of an unusual closing schedule. Activity now in the Red Sox pen. Remember, this is just Clay Buchholz's second start back after a lengthy stint on the DL at 87 pitches, and left-hander Matt Thornton has started to throw.
I think Clay's been told this is his last outing. They told him around 90 last inning, and they told him around 90 pitches. But the last 3 fastballs are probably the best 3 fastballs he's thrown all night. Committed, threw him down, accelerated at the very end of his delivery.
And it gets Soriano to chase a breaking ball in the dirt for out number 2.
Almost like earlier in the game, he was kind of feeling for it. And now he's like, okay, how about some effort here and get this thing finished off? This kind of effort. Watch the motion here as he breaks his hands by his back, hip. And this guy's a guitar player with very strong right hand, plays the guitar right-handed, and those fingers, he's a feel pitcher. Takes a lot of strength to keep that ball in your hand, especially when you create an arm speed about 95 miles an hour.
The Red Sox rotation has gone from a big weakness last year to a big strength right now, with John Lackey having a bounce back season. Buchholz when healthy, he's perfect 10-0. Lester's pitching very well right now. They bring in Jake Peavy. Then after that, Ryan Dempster, Felix Dubron, a lot of options, a lot of depth. It's a pretty good group. I mean, Lackey's throwing the ball harder now than maybe he's ever thrown in his life.
Yeah, Lackey and Lester and Buchholz in that rotation in the postseason. The way Lester's pitching.
1, 2, 3 for Buchholz in what might be his last inning of the night.
Everywhere they're giving Mariano Rivera gifts. Nice. Mariano himself is baseball's greatest gift. Class and quality, a star, one for the ages.
And tonight was his night to be honored here at Fenway Park, receiving a number of gifts from various members of the Red Sox. And of course, in many ways, he's got more of a connection to more history for obvious reasons with the Red Sox than any other team. Good friends with David Ortiz and saluting the fans here at Fenway. Remember, one of the things fairly well known by now that Rivera has done over the course of this season is one time in every opposing city as Bogaerts drives the ball deep right center, and this is going to drop. Boy, Ichiro having all kinds of trouble. I don't know if he lost the ball or thought maybe that Granderson was coming over, but that ball fell at his feet, and Bogaerts has himself a double.
You see him looking at the scoreboard, the big screen, to see what happened. It looked like to me he took his eye off the ball and then didn't know where he was or where the ball was when he looked back up. You see him looking, and then he turns back around. By the time he turned back around, the ball was at his feet. Look at him look at Granderson. He looks at Granderson and he can't find the ball. And that's just not a play that Ichiro makes. He's a Gold Glove, one of the better right fielders you've ever seen play.
It'll go as a double, but a ball that should have been caught, and now swinging a sharply hit ground ball off the bat of Bradley. And they'll get the out at first as the runner holds.
And not a great at bat right there by Jackie Bradley Jr. trying to get the runner over. Runner on second base and no outs, and he hits a grounder to the shortstop and can't advance Bogaerts.
So with a 1 out now, back to the top of the order for Dustin Pedroia. 0 for 2 has also walked and scored. Second inning of relief for Adam Warren, who got out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam that he inherited from Ivan Nova last inning.
You know, Jackie Bradley Jr.'s at bat right there is a perfect example of how the Red Sox will police themselves. You know, John Farrell will not have to address that with Jackie Bradley Jr. There is somebody on that bench talking to him right now, and it might even just be a look.
He goes, you go down there where all the pitchers are, because they ain't going to say nothing. Staying away from the other end where the real players sit.
It'll happen.
He'll eventually have to sneak down there for something. Look at him. He's going deeper down there. Now someone's going to say something.
And Pedroia draws the walk. Now, we started to talk about Mariano Rivera, and one of the things he's done to give back is once in every city he's visited with roughly 20 people. They could be fans, they could be people who work in the ticket department, concessions, people who have just represent the organization, not ball players, just people who work for the various organizations. And he's gone and kind of had a little town hall thing with them, spent some time. I mean, this is unheard of.
Didn't he deliver a pizza to a woman?
Yeah. I mean, this is unheard of, and this is another thing. His ability, his accomplishments separate himself, obviously, but guys, the way he's conducted himself separates him as well.
As a person, a genuine, dignified person, not only the way he's acted on the field, but unbelievable the way he's acted off the field with his church, with his teammates and everything.
And always gracious to us. Whenever we go down there for the spring training, for the bus tours, anything, if he's there, he'll talk to you. If he's not on the trip, you won't get to see him. But
I remember being at an All-Star game, and he was, I guess he was looking to get some gear for his kids or something like that. 99% of ball players would give a clubhouse kid some money and say, go get me this, go get me this. I remember walking into the ballpark, and there's Rivera standing in line, like at a concession stand, just with people. At an All-Star game, just standing in line, waiting to buy something.
With people?
Yeah, like with people like us. Oh. The great unwashed, like you and me, my friend.
I'd wash today.
Here's Nava, who's had a big night. 2 doubles and a single already. Up the middle, his 4th hit of the game. Bogart's getting the wave and will score without a throw.
Well, here's another base hit by Nava. This is 4th of the day, but look at what he does. He gets the foot down early, and then he just accelerates through the baseball. I mean, that's just a picture-perfect swing. Anytime you hit a ball back up the middle with any authority, that means you've had the perfect swing, if there is such a thing. And that's a ball right there. Nava, just because he got on top of it a little bit, that's why it stayed on the ground.
A huge night for Nava. 6-1, the Red Sox lead now. Left-hander Cesar Cabral coming in for the Yankees. A 6-1 Boston leads, bottom of the 6th. Make Sunday extra special by going out to the ballpark. Go to MLB.com/Sunday to find special ticket offers. MLB.TV celebrating 11 years. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on your favorite supported mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV for details. The Beards have taken on a life of their own. Hashtag #GetBeard. Oh, jeez. Now, we didn't know this was coming. Look at you, Crocky.
What is going on here?
This is not going to end well for me and Buster. Buster's salty. Oh, and I'm the Canuck. I get Dempster. Crocky, that's you, man. You got Johnny Gomes written all over.
That might be next year.
Well, it just keeps getting worse for the Yankees.
Well, didn't he hit Ortiz first time he faced him?
On Friday, yep.
Yeah.
Nava on second, clean shaven, has half their hits. This one's a little bit inside.
I think if I'm David Ortiz, I'm looking in.
Infield in for the Yankees. Cabral making his 5th appearance as a Yankee. Only faced the one batter, Ortiz, on Friday. He hit him, was charged with a run. Ortiz drills the ball into center field. That's a base hit. 1 run home. Nava will stop at third. Had to wait and see if that ball would carry all the way out to Granderson, and it's now 7-1.
Well, he almost hit him with the first, but second pitch he throws slider to get back the count even at 1-1. It looks like he's trying to throw another slider right there, and David Ortiz is all over it. And that's the perfect way to hit a left-handed pitcher. Try to shoot everything the other way, because normally they can't come in. David Ortiz had his sight sets the other way. You saw how he's got his hands in front of the ball, driving it to center field and driving another run. of a fantastic year by him.
And that's going to be all for Cabral. Jabba Chamberlain, come on down. The revolving door swings open again in that Yankee bullpen as the Red Sox pile it on here at Fenway. Welcome back to Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Red Sox up 7-1. Johnny Gomes had been announced as a pinch hitter for Mike Carp, and that's why Joe Girardi made the move to go to the right-hander, Jabba Chamberlain, who was a free agent at the end of the season. And you would imagine will be wearing a different uniform in 2014. Gomes comes up as a pinch hitter. And this is something he has done extremely well this year. 4 pinch hit home runs. First and third, 1 out.
Johnny Gomes will not get cheated.
Look at those eyes.
Drilled in for a strike at 95. Gomes also goes through an elaborate routine from the batting gloves to shrugging the shoulders to touching the elbow to tugging at the jersey to the right side of the face, and then that's the part that really gets me right at the end with the batting helmet goes down over his eyes up and down 4 times just before the pitch comes in. And if you think that he just happened to do it that time, watch him again. It's not quite, but it's almost Nomar.
Nomar Garcia Faria.
Yeah. Maybe he could get a helmet that fits better.
Yeah, it's not like his hair's doing something bad up there. I mean,
these eyes.
But once he locks in, he locks in.
At least he knows the helmet's on.
He did not like that call.
It was a ball, Crucky.
Yep.
Just like K-Zone said.
Yep.
Very shallow right field. Ichiro the catch. And Nava cannot risk it. 2 down. ESPN's Hunt for October continues this week. We've got a doubleheader for you on Wednesday, beginning with a big series as the Rangers take on the Rays. Right now, they're the co-leaders in the American League for the second wild card spot in the American League. They're the co-leaders right now. Excuse me. They're a half game up on the Indians, who are right behind them. And then the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, brought to you by T-Mobile at 10 o'clock Eastern Time here on ESPN, a part of Hispanic Heritage Month. And then we'll be in Milwaukee 1 week from tonight. The St. Louis Cardinals, who are in a fierce battle for the National League Central Division crown with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sunday Night Baseball, the Cardinals and the Brewers 1 week from tonight at 8 Eastern. Here's 7-1 Boston. The Yankees are in that wild card race. At the moment, 2.5 back of Tampa Bay and Texas. So 6 teams battling for 2 spots. And again, just to clear it up, the co-leaders, the Rangers and Rays. The Rangers have fallen back into a tie with the Rays in recent days. They will battle each other this week.
Can we have a wild card tie?
Could we? Oh, sure.
That would be.
We could have complete mayhem on the Monday.
How'd you like to play 2 Game 7s back to back to get to the division series?
I mean, easily 3 teams could wind up tied for the 2 spots or something like that, and then mayhem ensues. Cracky.
We like mayhem.
Yep.
He has his own commercial.
He does. Napoli, the batter, homered in the first, walked in the 4th, struck out in the 5th. The Red Sox just keep adding on every inning. Now up 7-1. Yankees got a run at the top of the first, and nothing has gone right for them since. By the way, got the report on Alex Rodriguez. Tightness in his right calf is the reason.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, when you sit out that long and then you come right back and you get thrown right into the action, you know, the things you rehab don't hurt. It's all the things you didn't rehab are the ones that start hurting.
Strike 3 call to get Napoli and end the inning. 6 in the books at Fenway, and Boston in command. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, is brought to you by Xerox. With Xerox, you're ready for real business. iShares by BlackRock. Visit iShares.com to learn more. And CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Going to the 7th at Fenway, and the Red Sox up 7-1 on the Yankees. We've got some changes for the Boston Red Sox, including the end of the night for Clay Buchholz. 6 innings, 1 run. It was unearned. He's out of the game right now. Johnny Gomes pinch hit for Mike Karp. He stays in the game in left field. Between innings after that strikeout, Mike Napoli was ejected. He slammed his helmet down. Didn't get kicked out for that. Got kicked out for whatever he said to home plate umpire Ron Culpa after that, and that's why Brandon Snyder is now manning first base. That was strike 3. That was the one that Napoli didn't like. Slammed down his helmet. That is not when the ejection occurred. As he walked away and said something to Culpa, that's when Culpa, in super slow-mo, tossed him out.
That hurts more.
And it's Matt Thornton on the mound. Veteran left-hander. Picked up from the White Sox. Spent some time on the DL, now back. Options and depth in that bullpen for John Farrell.
Boy, if Matt Thornton is right, he could really be a big key in that bullpen.
Activated on August the 25th. Had missed 3 weeks with an oblique strain. They've got Craig Breslow. They've got Franklin Morales, who has looked great recently.
Yeah, they're going to have a good mix in the postseason with left-right out of that bullpen.
They'll probably pare the rotation down to 4 guys and go with 11 total pitchers. So you'll have 7 guys probably in the bullpen.
It's like Dempster be the odd man out of the rotation.
But Dempster could, you know, he's had bullpen experience. Been very, very good closer, and he would be very comfortable down there if that's where he got put.
A funny thing happened after that. After Napoli got thrown out, apparently Johnny Gomes told Nava he was going to play first base. So Nava, being in the outfield, probably didn't have his protective cup. He flies into the dugout, runs up there. He's late getting out to right field, and they put Snyder in at first.
Gomes just messing with him, or gave him bad info.
No, managing. He's managing.
Strike 3 call to get Reynolds. You know, when you're up 7-1 and you're up 9 games in the division with 2 weeks to go, even the serious stuff can get funny.
Yeah,
every
Johnny
now and again,
Gomes
right?
can manage,
Yeah.
yes.
What a turnaround for the Red Sox from last season to this season. Ichiro the batter.
Say, it's when I went to spring training to cover the Red Sox, Pedroia told me, he said, we're going to be really good. Don't sleep on us. And I'm like, how? You haven't changed that much. I mean, you got rid of a lot of players. He said, watch.
Ichiro with a base hit. Well, there have been, as you guys talked about a little bit earlier, so many different reasons why they have been so much of a better team. I mean, they changed the culture. They've been healthier than they were last year. Their offense is #1 in baseball. You know, Lackey's come back and pitched well. Lester's pitched better. Pedroia has been healthier. Not healthy, but healthier. Ortiz has been healthier than he was last year. Ellsbury, until recently, healthier. And the young kids, the new guys, the role players, everybody seems to have stepped up and done the job. The batter, Brendan Ryan. And there's a base hit. Back-to-back singles for Ichiro and Ryan here with the Yankees 7th as we send it down to Buster Olney.
Guys, Clay Buchholz told us yesterday there's a perception that the players who came back from that 2012 Red Sox team had something to prove. He said that couldn't be further from the truth. He said what really went on with those players is what happened last year was so bad they didn't want to go through it again, and that was part of the motivation coming into this season.
Well, last year they lost 93 games, and not only did they lose 93 games, it was a season just marred by conflict and dysfunction. You looked at a guy like Pedroia and you said, well, he needs different kinds of guys on his team.
Exactly.
It's, you know, Pedroia's out there, he's at the ballpark at 11:30 in the morning, and all he wants to do is win, but he doesn't have other guys like that. Now all of a sudden he's got lots of other guys like that.
You know, it was so bad that it took even the Red Sox faithful to believe in this team and come back, and now they're on board and emotionally invested back in the Red Sox.
And they should be. That, you know, you look at their team in 2004. You know, with the, what do they call themselves?
The idiots.
The idiots. Yeah, with, you know, Johnny Damon and Millar and guys like that. You know, and they kind of assembled the same type of group of players on this 25-man roster.
David Ortiz there, Manny Ramirez, Jonathan Papelbon was a closer.
Did Bill Miller win the batting title?
Miller.
Kevin Millar was there.
That's right. Folk was the closer in 04.
Yeah, Keith Folk.
Johnny Damon was there.
Yep.
Manny. And their revolving shortstops. Who was the shortstop of the month that year? It wasn't Renteria. It was Cabrera.
Ground ball to third. There's one. There's two. 7th inning stretch. Fenway Park. Red Sox 7. Yankees 1. Between the Yankees and Red Sox. The greatest closer in baseball history. His final regular season appearance here. Napoli with a high fly ball. Mariano Rivera between innings making his way out to the Yankee bullpen. Will he get one last chance to pitch here at Fenway Park? Certainly doesn't look like the Yankees are going to have a save situation on their hands. Rivera, though, hasn't pitched since Thursday. The Yankees are off tomorrow. We'll see how Joe Girardi decides to play it. So far, it's been all Boston, other than the top of the first inning. The Yankees got a run. The Napoli homer in the bottom of the first. Clay Buchholz, the numbers look great. He didn't pitch. You wouldn't think he would put together those kinds of numbers because he battled his command, but he got out of some jams, had some good plays behind him, and certainly finished stronger than he began tonight. And Daniel Nava has had a big game. 4 for 4, 2 singles, 2 doubles. Boston cruising. You know, guys, they played the Yankees 7 times in the last 2 weeks. They've scored 57 runs in those 7 games against the Yankees. And right now, it's just one game, and things can change from year to year so significantly, as we've seen with the Red Sox. But boy, it appears that the present and the future, there's a big gap between these two organizations right now. Doesn't it feel that way?
Yeah, because you don't know. Obviously, the Yankees don't have anything coming up, or else they'd probably, most of them would be here by now because of all the injuries they had. But you look at the Red Sox, you know, with Bogarts, with Bradley Jr., they're well stocked to go into not only next year, but the next 5 or 6 years with the depth they have in their minor league system.
And heading into October, Oral, and again, you know, John Farrell didn't even want to talk about October. Right. They're 9 up with 13 to go, whatever. He doesn't want to talk about it. But, boy, he's got to be happy if everybody can get healthy. If they can get Ellsbury back, keep Victorino healthy, he's got to be excited about his team's chances.
Yeah, and I think he saw some positives tonight with Clay Buchholz. Even though he struggled, he came out with good results. But I really liked the last inning, the way he threw the ball.
Saltalamacchia grounds out for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Mike Zagurski up in the pen. Rivera is kind of chatting with fans here at Fenway. And again, he has felt this. He has always been treated very well here. They have cheered for him. They respect him. They admire him, even though he plays for the arch rivals. And this is one of the things about him. He's always been an approachable guy. So while Rivera chats it up, Joe Girardi goes to the pen again. The lefty, Mike Zagurski, will take the mound when we come back. Seven to 1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Second appearance for Clay Buchholz since coming off the DL. Went 5 innings in his first start. Bulldog went 6 tonight.
And he continues to build some strength, but when he had to, he made some pitches with all the different pitches. Cutter, now curveball here, gets this one. He throws a nice 2-seamer away and gets a double play to get out of this inning right here. And then comes back and throws a changeup, which is probably his 3rd best pitch. And then this curveball to Soriano showed good arm speed. You know what? He wasn't sharp, but he's made a little bit of progress, and he got good results, which will help his confidence.
There's left-hander Mike Zagurski, released earlier this season by the Pirates. This is his Yankee debut. Stephen Drew lifts a fly ball medium depth right field, 2 down. Zagurski has also spent time in the big leagues with the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. And as we mentioned, Joe Girardi's got 13 relievers in his bullpen. The regulars have been on fumes. They've been used a lot, and a lot of them have some minor issues or not so minor issues to deal with, so they have loaded up with extra arms. David Phelps just off the DL now starting to throw.
Is the guy on the mound John Kruk's long lost brother?
You got Zagurskis in your family down in West Virginia?
Well, yeah, I would imagine. I mean, if he had number 3, think of it.
He'd be the babe. He'd be babish.
Yeah. He's a good guy. I met him when he played with the Phillies, and he's pretty funny. So you better watch out. He might take your job someday.
Or yours. Here's Xander Bogaerts.
I can loan him my suits. They'll fit.
Bogaerts a strikeout, a walk, and a double. Down and in with an off-speed pitch. 3-1 the count on Bogaerts. Just 20 years of age.
Can you imagine that? 20 years old and you're in a pennant race playing third base for the Red Sox. Wow.
That's a life. The body and the hands and the way he played defense this game, they remind me a little bit of Manny Machado. Who's in Baltimore.
Who's a lot older than him. Yeah. He's 21.
Then he can hit.
Base hit into right center. Don't know if he'll be a part of things in October for the Red Sox, but he's certainly going to be a part of their future.
Well, Zagurski got behind the count, had to throw fastballs here. And I mean, look at Bogaerts right there, how he just kept his head down on that ball. Took a lot of pitches in his first couple at bats against Nova, but this is a pitch where he just look at everything just perfect. Palm down, palm up. Perfect execution of the swing through the zone. And you saw how it jumps off his bat. That's what scouts look for when they're looking at amateur players. How does the ball come off the bat?
Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. 0 for 3. Never had an enormous spring, and there was so much discussion about whether or not he would stick with the Red Sox. He struggled early, was sent down, and now he gets hit by an off-speed pitch. Red Sox fans are booing again, but that's a slider that got away from Zagurski. 2 men on with 2 out. Back to the top of the order now for Dustin Pedroia. Now, if the Yankees go on to lose this game, they won't lose any ground in the American League wildcard race, but they'll lose a day off the calendar. The Rangers and Rays both losing earlier today. The Yankees in jeopardy of being 3 back at the end of the night unless they can come up with a big comeback. Joe Girardi's just going to keep marching him on in here as he goes for the right-hander David Phelps. ESPN, a look at the AL playoff chase, including another loss by both the Texas Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays today. Eli loses, Peyton wins in Manning Bowl 3, and Aaron Rodgers and the Packers blow out RG3 and the Redskins. The latest in the American League wildcard race with Texas and Tampa Bay both losing today. Cleveland winning today. The Orioles won, the Royals lost. The Yankees look like they're going to drop down to 79 and 71 and be 3 back with 2 weeks to go. Rays still play the Rangers. Rays still play the Yankees. Indians still play the Royals. All kinds of excitement going down to the wire for the last 2 spots in the American League playoff race. On the mound now for the Yankees, their 6th pitcher of the night is right-hander David Phelps, just reinstated from the DL yesterday. Missed better than 2 months with a forearm strain. A guy who has pitched as both a starter and a reliever for the Yankees over the last couple of years.
They're going to have to resod the grass between the bullpen and the pitcher's mound here.
And they got a whole lot more arms down there right now, this being September.
Oh, one of them's Mariano.
First and second, 2 down for Dustin Pedroia. 0 for 2, has also walked twice and scored twice.
The body language in the. We'll take a look down there, looking for Mariano.
Hasn't pitched since Thursday, but obviously this is not a typical situation. Don't know with an off day tomorrow if Joe Girardi would want to get him some work or would rather just give him some extra rest. I'm sure Red Sox fans would love to see him one more time, in all likelihood the last time that Mariano Rivera would ever pitch here at Fenway Park. But it's his call.
Eventually, got to run out of pitchers, don't they?
3-1.
That's the one thing about the September call-ups. It just, how's that fair? To, I know every team can do it, but
affect pennant races.
Yeah, it's you're going up against teams that are out of it. They're going to, throw their. They're going to every time they can get a matchup left, right, they're going to fire another guy in out of the bullpen.
I've always thought that they should allow the call-ups, but then have to name the active 25 that night and keep the rosters at 25 when the game starts. So you give the young guys exposure on a certain night, but then you might not want to have them active the next night. You let them experience the big league arena and see what they look like. And they still get service time even if they're not on the active roster, so the union would go for it to get called up.
Runners on the go. Fouled back by Pedroia. Back a generation or so ago, teams had, say, 10-man pitching staff. Some teams had 9 if you go back into the 70s or very early 80s. Now most teams have 12, occasionally 13. So fewer bench players, but a lot more pitchers, a lot more relievers. 5-man rotation instead of 4, 7-man bullpen instead of, say, 5.
Just watching Pedroia in the box and during this at bat, 7-1, bottom of the 7th, first and second, 2 out, and he is grinding it out. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a borderline pitch for a ball right here and draws a walk.
Races a base hit into left field. All the way to the wall. Bogarts will score. Flying home behind him is Bradley. A 2-run double for Pedroia.
The guy in second right now personifies the Boston Red Sox. So he should put a C on his chest. brought some gamers and tough guys around him, John.
And what else he can do is he can hit, and especially that pitch middle in. Most guys swing down on that ball. He actually bends his knees to hit low pitches and raises up to hit high pitches, which is so unorthodox. But the thing that he does, that every great hitter does, is his head stays on the ball and his hands fly through the zone.
Now Nava, who has had a huge night, 4 for 4, 2 doubles, 2 singles, has scored a run and has driven in a run.
With no beard.
Yeah, what gives? I didn't think it was optional.
Maybe that's it.
He's trying, and that's all he's got?
That's as good as he can get.
It's optional if you get 4 hits.
Well, some of the guys, I think Middlebrooks has talked about trying to regrow his. He had to shave it off when he went down to the minors. And now that's taken a while. Buchholz comes in kind of splotchy, but I mean, if that's trying. And good movement on that pitch from Phelps to end the inning. But more runs for the Red Sox. RBIs number 79 and 80 on the season for Dustin Pedroia. Red Sox in a rout. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. And in part by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. It has been quite a night for the Red Sox. Just tacking them on inning after inning. Hitting the long ball. And driving out to a 9-1 lead now on the Yankees going to the 8th inning. Some changes. Johnny McDonald, 4th team of the season for Johnny Mac. A terrific defensive player. Takes over for Dustin Pedroia. And left-hander Craig Breslow is now on the mound here in the 8th inning to face the top of the Yankee lineup and Curtis Granderson with the shift on. So Drew, McDonald, Snyder, all on the right side of the infield right now. As Granderson takes down an in ball 2. The Yankees will have an off day tomorrow to mull over what went wrong here at Fenway this weekend, and then they head to Toronto. They have dominated the Blue Jays this year, winning 13 out of 16. After the series in Toronto, they're back at Yankee Stadium to take on the Giants next weekend. Then they host the Rays, and then they finish the season with 3 games at Houston. So can they get to that Rays series still in contention, with those games mattering, where a potential sweep of Tampa Bay might put them back into it? If they lose tonight, they'll be 3 back of the Rays and the Rangers, with the Indians ahead of them, and 4 back in the loss column as well. And with the Orioles now a half game ahead of them as well. Again, that's assuming the Yankees lose this game. Baltimore won today, so they would move ahead of the Yankees, were the Yankees to lose tonight. You got all that, Crucky?
Yep, dialed in.
6 teams, 2 spots. One down. Sports Center coming your way at the conclusion of the ball game. We'll look at the Rays and Rangers stumbling again here today, making things a little bit more complicated and congested in the American League wildcard race. Also, all the action from the NFL, including the outcome of Manning Bowl 3, and the Packers dropping RG3 and the Redskins to 0-2.
Get back just in time to watch that Sports Center in the morning.
Vernon Wells. Wells came on as a pinch hitter for Alex Rodriguez back in the 5th. A-Rod leaving with tightness in his right calf to go with the hamstring trouble that had forced him from third base into the DH spot. Six innings for Clay Buchholz tonight. Matt Thornton worked the 7th, and now Craig Breslow on in the 8th. Swing and a miss by Wells. Back-to-back strikeouts for Breslow. Wednesday night, as ESPN's Hunt for October continues, Clayton Kershaw is the scheduled starting pitcher for the Dodgers as they take on the Diamondbacks. Not inconceivable they could clinch a division title that night. Kershaw with an ERA under 2, 214 strikeouts, and quite possibly on his way to his 2nd Cy Young Award. Rangers and Rays in the early game, Dodgers and Diamondbacks in the late game, and we'll check in on the Cardinals 1 week from tonight as they are in Milwaukee.
Kershaw looking to get back to his Cy Young ways. Last couple outings have been a little bit rough. His whip is still under 1. I think it's tied with Matt Harvey right now at about .93. That's walks and hits to innings.
Divided by innings pitched.
That's amazing.
Not quite Koji Uehara category, but for a starting pitcher, it is remarkable. Uehara, nobody ever gets on base against him. He's retired 37 batters in a row.
Doesn't look like the Red Sox will need him tonight.
Nope. Uehara on the left, Junichi Tozawa on the right. Tozawa the 8th inning guy, and Uehara the closer. Great grab by Bogarts to end the inning. They can't do anything wrong these days. The Red Sox putting all facets of the game together tonight. Red Sox in command, leading the Yankees 9-1. Sports Center next. At the conclusion of the ball game right here on ESPN, including a look at all the action around Major League Baseball. Texas, Tampa Bay both losing today. They are the co-leaders in the American League wild card race. Peyton wins, Eli loses in the Manning Bowl, and RG3 and the Redskins drop to 0-2 as the Packers run up a big early lead and beat them 38-20. Changes for the New York Yankees. Zoilo Almonte is into the game in left field for Alfonso Soriano. Eduardo Nunez is at second base for Robinson Cano. Rookie J.R. Murphy is now the catcher for the Yankees. And right-hander Dellin Betances is into the game as the 7th pitcher of the night for New York. His numbers in the minors this year. A couple of years ago considered a pretty big prospect in the Yankee organization. Had a disastrous 2012. A better year this year largely as a reliever. A September call-up as he faces David Ortiz. Ortiz tonight had an RBI single in the first. He's grounded into a double play, but intentionally walked and had another RBI single in the 6th. Closing in potentially on another 100 RBI season. The vantage point from the Yankee bullpen. Bullpen coach Mike Harkey on the right. And Major League Baseball's all-time saves leader Mariano Rivera on the left in his last appearance, last regular season appearance, and potentially, obviously, of course, the last appearance ever here at Fenway Park. Honored pregame, a number of gifts, nice ceremony, big ovation.
What a chance for those young Yankee arms to get a chance to sit next to the legend and learn from him. If each one of them hasn't individually gotten a one-on-one lesson on the cutter, they have missed the best opportunity of their life.
Swing and a miss to get Ortiz. Let's go down to Buster.
And guys, the cutter began for Mariano Rivera at a throwing session that he had with teammate Ramiro Mendoza playing catch. He noticed the ball was moving all over the place. The funny thing is that the Yankees spent a couple of months working with Rivera to eliminate that movement because it was so much of a problem and it was affecting his control until he learned how to work with that. Now, fast forward to spring of 2012. I asked Chipper Jones, why have offensive numbers gone down in baseball in recent years? And he said, I blame Mariano Rivera and the cutter.
How did that pitch change things for you as a hitter, Crockett?
Well, I only got to face him once.
But just generally, the cutter in general. I guess you didn't see as many.
Yeah, it wasn't
of them,
as many,
yeah.
no. So, but I always looked at a cutter as, we identify things as a hitter, and you have, I've talked to some hitters of now, and they're talking about, he has a split, he has a this, he has a forkball, he has a split, he has a changeup, he has a cutter, he has a two-seamer, four. I always thought there were 3 pitches: a fastball, slider, and a fastball, breaking ball, and a changeup. And a breaking ball can be defined as a slider or a curveball. If a guy had both, then of course you had both. But I always thought a cutter was just a hard slider, and that's the way I always looked at it. When a guy, when I had a scout report, he said, "Oh, he throws a cutter." I said, it's just a high slider or a hard slider to me.
Well, let's take a look at some cutters. Let's go back to 1999. This is some of the most memorable footage for Mariano Rivera. The Yankees and the Braves in Game 4 of the World Series. Ryan Klesko, first pitch, broken bat. Second pitch, broken bat. Chipper Jones laughing in the Braves dugout. Third pitch, broken bat, pop-up.
That was the same at bat.
Well, hitters will tell you that the hardest pitch to hit is a well-located fastball. And what Mariano Rivera did with the cutter is he made the fastball now go in 2 directions. Because normally it goes away from your arm side, and now it can go in. And when it goes 2 ways, plus it's hard and located well, you get people out.
Terrific play by Brendan Ryan to end the inning. Does not look like Mariano's going to do much more than sign autographs and spend some time with the fans here at Fenway Park tonight. To the 9th. With the Red Sox in control in spite of a terrific effort here by Ryan, the Yankee shortstop. The Red Sox 3 outs away from sweeping the Yankees.
Ever in the history of baseball.
Do you have to put him up there with even Babe Ruth as far as that type of player?
No matter where greatness shows its face, you've got to respect it and you've got to appreciate it for what it is, no matter what team colors they wear.
Will Mariano Rivera get a chance to pitch in October in this his final season? The 43-year-old has announced he is hanging him up at the end of the year, honored before the game tonight here at Fenway, as he has been in his last game at every visiting ballpark this year. Will he get a chance to pitch in the playoffs for the New York Yankees? A loss tonight, and they will be 3 outs of the wild card spot in the American League. The Rays and the Rangers, the co-leaders. The Indians a half game out. The Orioles 2.5 out, and the Yankees would drop to 3 out with a loss tonight. And again, this is another thing. We've talked about it. This is another thing that separates him. And I know a lot of people don't like the Yankees, so they don't like anybody who wears a Yankee uniform. But this is not normal. This is a guy who goes above and beyond, and again, the call of duty in terms of spending time with fans. Alan Webster on the mound now for Boston, part of that mega deal with the Dodgers last year. Facing Eduardo Nunez. Webster has made 6 starts for the Red Sox this year. This is his first time pitching in relief. September call-up. The starts came earlier in the year, was recalled in September. Facing Eduardo Nunez, getting his first at-bat of the night. With a win, the Red Sox would pick up their 92nd win of the season. That is the most of any team in baseball. They got the best record of anybody in baseball. And they would be 9.5 up on Tampa Bay. They could clinch midweek.
They'll probably still take infield that day or the next day after they clinch. The whole time we've been here scouting them the last few days, they're out early before batting practice taking infield.
One down. Big night for Daniel Nava. 4 for 5, a couple of doubles, and he is the Chevrolet player of the game. Having a terrific year, playing multiple positions.
See what he's doing?
Was he checking where he should play defensively right there?
His chart on who's hitting.
In a 9-1 game. Checking where he should play over base.
But this is over base, what, 4th at bat?
Yeah. You should know by now?
Probably.
Yeah. Sorry, Daniel.
But he's prepared.
He is. Better safe than sorry.
Yep. Just rechecking.
The charts are a little bit more complicated in this day and age.
Yeah, I'd have trouble. I couldn't remember all that stuff.
Mike Buchholz going 6 innings for the Red Sox tonight. Got stronger as the game went along. Labored a little bit early, really, with his command, but last couple of innings tightened things up a lot. Wound up going 6, up the pitch count a little bit in his second start since coming off the DL.
He was not sharp, but he was healthy and he was out there and he's progressing.
And the Red Sox, with the luxury of the big lead they have in the division, they don't have to necessarily worry, although John Farrell again is not assuming anything. But they can, even if they're not going to talk about it, they can start thinking about it, planning for October. They're off tomorrow, home to Baltimore for a midweek series.
And the way the schedule works, they'll get 3-4 days off.
Yep.
After the season's over.
Rivera leaving a little message, it looks like, in that visiting bullpen. Swing and a miss, Mark Reynolds.
I'd like to know what he wrote there.
Me too. Where's Buster?
Another example of what sets him apart. It's probably a thank you note for all the gifts.
Ground ball to third. And they'll get the lead runner, nothing more.
Tell you what, he better have a big house and put all that stuff people are giving him. Can you read it?
Looks like it says last to wear 42. Thank you for everything. Even Red Sox fans have been saying to him this weekend, thank you.
Yep. And you think about his career. Last year, 2008, and possibly this year I believe will be the only years he hasn't pitched in the postseason.
Yep. 651 saves, all-time leader. 42 postseason saves to match his number.
That was the gift that they gave him right there. In case he came in tonight, he did give the gift back for tonight, and he'll get it. His number that was autographed by the Red Sox.
I might think about taking off of that thing.
So they gave him pieces of Fenway, and he
could have come
wrote
in
on the
game.
Fenway wall and gave them a gift back.
He could have came in the game, Dan. They had the 42 out there to put on the board. You ever felt those things? I was back there once and felt those
heavy
plates that
they're
heavy.
Are they?
Yeah.
Never been inside there.
Oh, it's special.
A base hit for Ichiro. This will get a run home as Reynolds comes in on the single to make it 9-2. Joe Girardi has said, I think, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, he's going to give Rivera a month or 6 weeks after the season and then say to him, what do you say? You want to come back one more time? But there's no way he's coming back. And I think Joe knows that, obviously. But after all this, the year-long celebration of the tour,
I don't think
he's not coming back. Ichiro to second on defensive indifference. Brendan Ryan, the batter. If they're not going to make the playoffs, I mean, you just wonder what his last appearance of the season is going to be like.
Houston.
That's where they finish. They finish in Houston.
You have a problem.
But I think it'll be in Yankee Stadium if they're out of it. And you won't pitch in Houston.
Yeah. Their next to last series is at home against Tampa Bay. This should do it here. Red Sox sweep. A step closer to clinching the East for the Red Sox. A day off the calendar for the Yankees as they fail to pick up any ground in the American League wildcard race. Mariano Rivera is going to spend a little more time with the fans here at Fenway before he leaves this ballpark, in all likelihood, for the last time as an active player. The final from Fenway, the Red Sox winning convincingly. And they sweep the New York Yankees to improve the best record in the majors to 92 and a 59. Major League Baseball's hunt for October continues on ESPN Wednesday night. It's a doubleheader. The Rangers and Rays early at 7 Eastern, then the Dodgers and D-backs in a late game at 10 Eastern. Coming up next here on ESPN Sports Center. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. A big night for the Red Sox, a memorable night, I'm sure, for Mariano Rivera. For Oral Hershiser, John Kruk, and Buster Olney, I'm Dan Shulman saying so long from Fenway Park.
Thank you, Mariano.